Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mama Banter and welcome to a very special night. It is the very first TwixLow. It is as dumb and as fun as it sounds. And for the next 2 hours, also, it is going to be you and me and my co-host, who is looking extraordinarily handsome. Good evening, Pom.
Oh, hey, tell you what, that intro, by heck. Tell you what, you've dressed up well. The videography's on point. Tell you what, Essendon are very lucky to have you, aren't they, Fiona?
How are you? How are you doing, Pom?
I'm brilliant, as always. I can't wait to get stuck into this. I enjoy doing something stupid, like wearing a suit just to count votes. I've done it once already this week. And evidently I've caught a kind of a penchant for it.
You have, and I see that you couldn't help yourself but represent the navy blue.
Well, yeah, do you know what I mean? Look, you can't take the Carlton out of the Carlton boy, can you? But
Fair
my
enough.
Beautiful Bombers fans, you'll see, look, I am repping the actual red of Essendon as well.
You are,
according to the jacket colour hex. So there you are.
And we've gone all matchy. We've done the right thing, as you would with your co-host or escort to the Brownlow or the Crichton medalist. You'd be matching. So we have done all the due diligence. How are you, chat? I can see that you've been having a very fun time. Jeremy or Jez, thank you so much. If you're paying $295 to go to the Crichton, happy to pay $29.50 to go to the TwixLow. I mean, I'm honoured. I think there's a bit of a discrepancy in terms of prices there, but that's fair enough because you're providing your own wine and food. So fair enough. But I'm just gonna hazard a guess and say that this is going to be more fun, more ridiculous, more entertaining. So thank you so much, Jez. I love you.
Better hosts. Anyway, I can pop that out there.
I think so. Although Sarah Jones hosts ours and she is an absolute delight. So who hosts Carlton's actually?
Oh, who was the boffin who did it last time? His name goes out of my head. Tell you what, let me have a look. Because
all right, while you do that.
In my
Mariella.
text, in my text, my +1, I was mean about the guy. The guy said who it was.
Oh, Mariella, thank you so much. I feel utterly ridiculous, but I have poured myself, as promised, a glass of wine, and soon enough I will no longer feel ridiculous. I will just be a little bit flush in the face and probably fall asleep very quickly. So I'm just going to continue drinking, and I'm so glad to see the rest of you have your wines at the ready. My challenge is going to be not to spill this on me. So thank you so much, Mariella. All right, go Pom. If you sorted it out, who is it?
I can't find it. I text my mate way too much, but I'll tell you what, I can show you a picture. See if anyone knows in the chat.
All right. Just let it be seen that I kept is the sound okay with the mic up here? I didn't want to put it in front of the dress, but if I have to, because the sound is bad and it's better like that. Is the sound better like that, chat? Because I will for you, and we'll just hide the dress now that it's had its moment in the sun. Is it better? Just let me know. Sam McClure. Surely Sam McClure is not your host. I would absolutely.
It's not Sam McClure. It's whoever this guy is. Look, I've just shared my screen with you.
Okay.
And don't say Patrick Cripps. I know that's Patrick Cripps. It's whoever that guy is. But whoever that guy is, genuinely thinks he's
Isn't
funny.
That oh yeah, isn't that the commentator, guys?
I can't remember who it is.
Richardson or something. Richardson, yeah. Albert. See, Albert knows. Richo. Yeah, okay, don't hide the dress. All right, good.
No, you can't let that go to waste. You can't go to that go to waste.
If the sound is just as good, because I'm just conscious of people telling me and this not being my forte. So thank you, Lorraine. Thank you for being here. I love having you here. All right. Should we get started, Pom?
Well, I mean, look, before we start, I think it's always customary to talk about the year, isn't it? So
true.
So Fiona, tell us, how was riding the wave of the Bombers?
I mean, I think that is the correct way to describe it, a wave. With not so many dips. I don't know wave terminology or surfing terminology, but more high waves and bigger waves than nice calm waters this year. And unexpected. However, I will say that running the channel has definitely helped me cope better, because I have felt a duty to hold space and to be, not to create a negative place. Everybody else is feeling shit enough about where we are. Everybody knows where we are, and I don't need to be an extra element to feeding the inner demons that tell you that we're going to be shit forever and that Essendon have no hope. So I have found it a little bit easier running the channel, but I'm not going to lie, it does make my stomach hurl a bit, mainly because I'm not confident that next year is going to be any better.
So is that because of what you've seen this year? Is there no reason to be optimistic? From the outside looking in, I think the amount of like young players that you've played, young players that have stepped up even, shows that there is signs of life in this, because I'm quite bullish.
It's not about the players or the coaching. It's about the ability to get the best players playing. And Chat and Pommy, you will see when I bring up these slides, you will see that in the first 10 rounds, all the players have numbers next to their name. And then at the end of the year, it's just blank, 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 because there's no players playing. So I'm just not confident that the club is going to get it right, because all the evidence shows me otherwise. But I'm going to show up anyway.
Evidence, you and that.
I love the evidence.
To tell you what, Chat, if only you were in my DMs. I know how many times that gambit gets dropped. I mean, obviously, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room. Are we voiding any potential Draper votes this week? Because you know what? That's what happens. Yeah, you bought yourself a part-time pom, but from the south of England. Always destined to be a disaster, that.
Yeah. Look, I made peace with it when Vigo and Brian signed, but the Ridley one definitely whipped me good, because whilst I did suspect it was him who may have had questions, I think I feel more disappointed that it's come to this, that it's not the coaching, it's not the culture, it is purely one department that is so vital in sports, in professional sports, that can't get their shit together and can't get it right. And so that makes me just extraordinarily frustrated. What hope does Brad Scott have to fucking coach a team if they can't even be out there on the park? So that for me made me really sad. And Ridley's one who I just cannot fathom losing.
You know what? It's a sad version of events, but I mean, we are talking about 20 people who have got votes this week who hopefully are going to be at the Bombers' next surge into finals.
True. Very true. And there are a lot of players listed on these slides, because we had so many players play for our team. We had more players. I haven't actually gone through every single club's list, but we had more players play than any other team. We had 44 out of 47 players play. Now, that is incredible, and we certainly have, I guess, found out more about our players than most other clubs, if not all the other clubs, because out of necessity we've had to play them, and that's great. But yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting trade period.
Do you perceive some big changes in that fitness department? I did think it was fascinating to hear Ridley's reason being his injury management. So would you say that that's probably the next step, that there's going to be a cull per se?
Well, the cull's already happened. Now we're just waiting to see who's actually going to fill the spots. And to be honest, it's more important than the actual draft, in my opinion. I've got full faith in Matt Rosa. I don't know how this man has already instilled all this faith in me, but he's got it. I don't need to worry. I know that who he picks is going to be friggin' amazing. He's got it under control. It's the strength and conditioning department that I'm worried about. And, it's come out today that we're talking to Damien Austin from Brisbane, which would be a high coincidence if he actually got the job for the head of the strength and conditioning program, because it's a big yes from me. They've been absolutely really good in terms of their injuries up at Brisbane. And then underneath that, I'm not as concerned, because I think they'll hire the best people, available for the job. But it's their main guy, it's the main head honcho who they need to get right. So,
did you did you do what Carlton didn't do? So Carlton's is quite a fascinating version. We blamed our fitness guys, strength and conditioning first, and then after that being reviewed, it turned out that the medical staff, so that the team doctor and the specialist there, were also not talking to everyone properly. So it was kind of like Carlton in the last 5 years with our injuries. We thought we've shot the guy, but then we found out that there was actually some other guys who evidently couldn't do something quite simple like read a scan and provide the right analysis. Have you gone deep? When you've called it back?
I have been told that there was big issues with the physios themselves and their ability to communicate to players and their opinions and their views, and they're potentially not listening to players, experienced players telling them that their bodies or they didn't feel quite right, and going against what a player had actually said. So I've been told a few stories like that, which are completely concerning. So I think that it's a full washout and start again. Cancel.
It'd be fascinating if you could ever find out, because I do remember one of the players telling me, I won't name him, but he was told to kick with his other foot.
Yes.
Which is still one of my personal favourite stories, just casually being told that as if it's normal. And me going, what?
How is that? So picture that situation. An injured player, so injured that he can't actually perform with the skills of his body. So the club's answer, in order to keep him out there, is to just use your other foot. It begs belief.
And genuinely, only found out as well because I asked this player, why are you kicking with this foot? It makes no sense that for the last 2 years you've kicked with this foot as your preference. Is this something about your role? And he just literally deadpan goes, oh no, this is hurting, so they've told me to focus on my other side. And I'm like, what? That doesn't sound right.
What the hell? Middle of a season, middle of a campaign. This is the fuckery that is happening everywhere, all clubs most likely. But that kind of decision making that just goes unnoticed basically. And I think those horror stories are basically all around. So I do think it's going to be a complete deletion and start again of the program, which I do, but it's hard to have faith because who knows?
Well, I'm very bullish. There's quite a lot of videos on the Pommy and Oz channel coming out about Essendon. I've got 1 foot in Essendon being my big winners of the trade draft period, but I reckon after doing a couple of videos, I feel like I might go 2 foot in. I do feel like you're in a very good place.
Oh, Pom, don't. This is reverse psychology. You told me I did that to you.
Look, I'd never do that. I would never betray the people watching or yourself. You've got me as a temporary Bomber lover while I'm here.
I don't know. Hey guys, am I getting the wind pulled over my face? Is my naivety, my genuinity
come on.
Is he actually a spy? Is that what's happening here?
I'm not gonna gas. Hey, look, I knew someone would use the G word. I would not gaslight you guys. I would not. Look, I'm not that type of guy. Look, I'd tell you if it was unfixable. I don't think it's unfixable. I think where you are with your draft arsenal and the potential that you could do if Ridley goes, because that's going to be a big fucking offer as well from Brisbane. They're not going to be able to get him for a firm handshake and a kiss on the lips.
Yeah.
I actually think you've got some good options to go with. I really do. Hey, Felix, you know the draft as well as I do. I think where you are, you could be in a very good.
Exactly, Felix. Very good. I feel this is why I don't trust men, Pommy. What are you doing to me? Hey, Atush, Excuse you, you're late.
Hey, big lad, how you doing? Look, come on. Look, get the strength and conditioning right. That's the big thing, having people out there. But I think you can make the moves, the necessary moves that you need, which you do. You know what you need to kill. You know what you need. That's a good
true.
place. It's not luck where you are.
Yeah,
it's not bad
true.
luck. You know where you are. This
is true. And they say the first step in recovery is knowing exactly, identifying the problem and then working from there. And we know exactly what's gone wrong. We're not searching for answers. We know what has gone wrong and what we have to do. And that also does give me a little bit of, and also I feel quite bullish that they're going to do their absolute most to get it right. And can I ask for much more? Can we ask for much more? Well, no, really.
But unfortunately, we've got to sit on the fence and just hope, and that's a very scary place to be in it. But look, I think the biggest thing that Essendon have done is I think they've admitted that they're not the Essendon of the 90s, and I think that's the first step. That's the first step. And I did like the Dylan Shield early delisting, because the Essendon that I know would have probably delayed that and tried to keep him, so they couldn't admit that maybe was a mistake 6 years, 7 years ago.
That would have been a 1-year extension.
Yeah, years ago. So I like that, and I like the delistings today as well. I know as well as anyone as a Carlton fan, having a very famous. Sometimes you have to shoot them in the head, but sometimes you've got to do it.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, look, we both are going into an unknown. Both our clubs have players wanting to leave, potentially mass exodus. Potentially they're going. The club is saying no. The players saying yes. The journo saying yes. The journo says they're lying. The club says they're lying. Who fucking knows? Like, really? Who absolutely knows?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I've got Charlie Curnow at the minute going on dates with Dean Cox.
I mean, is that true?
Oh, I don't know. Carol said it. So I mean, you can never trust journalists. Like, honestly,
no.
Journalists are one step up from traffic wardens.
I mean, Pom and chat. This is what I love, right? So Tom Morris on the news comes out and says Essendon will say that Ridley didn't ask to go to Brisbane, but they did. Now Essendon come out and say Ridley did not ask to go to Brisbane, and they're both so emphatic. So why does Tom Morris get to emphatically say that Essendon are lying? Like, why does he think that people are going to believe him?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Pan. Yeah, you know, I always find it one of the fascinating things, because I think journalists are very clever with the way they word things. So it was like when I was chatting to a mate the other day about Charlie Curnow, I was like, if you read how Tom Morris has worded it, he has worded that he expressed an openness to be traded if Carlton benefited and were appeased, right? Yeah. And I said, as soon as I read that, how do you know Graham Wright hasn't gone down to Icon Park like he did at Pies and said, right, we need to clean this list up. Some of you are going to be traded. I need you to all go away and think about it. And how do you know Charlie hasn't gone into that exit meeting and gone, look, if you want to trade me and you can get what you need, I'm more than willing to work with you to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you know that's not the conversation that's been had? Which kind of now sounds like that's maybe the conversation. So I always find it fascinating. But clubs are going to lie. Like, Spirios is right. Yeah. Essendon would look foolish right now to go, oh, yeah, Ridley told us to get fucked.
Yeah, exactly. But so this is somewhere between them will be the truth. Yeah, I just laughed at how emphatic Tom Morris was, as if he has this squeaky clean history of being correct and not telling fibs and not being a complete and utter misogynistic asshole, homophobic, misogynistic asshole. Like, what gives you the confidence to be so emphatic? It's just so amusing to me. Anyway, we move on, don't we?
It's this thing that we don't have in 2025. The two things that keep us very, very moralistic on the straight and narrow. Number one is shame, and two is accountability. The two wonderful things that humans feel. I do think, though, Tom Morris, though, is fascinating, because My pop used to say to me, and it's one of the words that always sticks in my head, because every time someone's done what I'm about to tell you, they've always been a knob jockey, right? And the number one thing my pop used to say is, if someone tells you you can trust me, don't trust them. Because he was like, something that you feel, you're not told. And number two is when someone says, I'm not lying, and or I'm not making it up. And if you watched Tom Morris last week on the show, journalists don't make things up. Like, we don't just go into our office and think of something. And I'm like, what? Why would you say it's unaided and unabetted? Like, because I wouldn't think that. If I put a content out, I've researched that. I don't think, oh, someone might think I've made this up. I would do, though, if I made it up. Like, I genuinely would. This isn't made up. This is what I've heard. So, yeah, I find that fascinating.
Yeah, and to be honest, I actually studied journalism at university, and I fully remember, and the reason I didn't pursue it is because of the person that they basically told us you had to be and become. You had to become someone who was okay with pushing the truth and telling white lies. This was actually said in a seminar to us, and that just didn't fit with the person I am and the kind of the work that I wanted to do. I loved writing and I love storytelling and I love everything about that part of it, the creative part of it, but not the person you have to be. So Tom Morris, that's actually a lie. Journalists do make shit up. It's actually your job. And the art of it is making it up in a way that doesn't get you in trouble and somehow alludes to the truth in there somewhere.
Yeah, I agree with Void as well. It's fascinating because they always use this interpretation, don't they? They always use that. This was my interpretation of the events, which it's fascinating because social media and the world we live in now is like, if I say I like cups, my favorite thing in the morning is having a cup of tea. The interpretation for some idiots will be Pom fucking hates coffee. So vicariously, Pom hates coffee. He also hates all of the Mediterranean who invented coffee, probably throw in Turkish as well. That's how people escalate it, where like sometimes what he said is the truth. You don't need to elaborate on it. But I will say this. I always see Essendon a bit like I see Liverpool, who are my arch rivals in the UK. And although you wouldn't see me on a Liverpool show because I would rather jump off a bridge and see if I could land like a cat than go on that, I will say we are kind of cousins. We are kind of beautiful cousins from a dysfunctional family where we want to get one up on each other's families, but we are somehow related. And what I mean by that is you look at how the media portray Carlton and Essendon at the minute. Curnow now wants to leave Carlton because he's unhappy with the injuries, right? Essendon, he wants to leave because Ridley's unhappy with the injuries. But where is the talk of other players that want to leave and it's not their problem? So it's fascinating. I was reading last night about Sam Flanders, and it was like, Sam Flanders wants to go to St Kilda or Carlton or maybe Richmond because he wants to play first team football and he wants opportunities. And it was all worded like, this is a beautiful thing for Sam Flanders. He should go out and do that. But when it's our players, there's none of this loyalty nonsense. It's, Essendon pretended he eats pigs' hearts and he'll get hamstring issues. There's no like logical. So unfortunately, that's how we react. And I do look at you beautiful bombers, like my beautiful Carlton people who are in the chat. Good day to you. And we do buy into that. Like we buy into that so quickly. It's like Ridley says he's hamstrings, but there's so much that goes on with a hamstring. How do you know Ridley isn't eating Maccas on a Tuesday when he's told to go on a salt, sugar-free diet? How do you know he's doing the extras? Then you also look at how do you know that conversation's taken place? Like it's so easy for us to fall into that trap because I told the story today on my video that Collingwood Gold Coast are about 1,000 points behind to match their players this year in the draft, and they're going to have to bring a trade in.
Love it.
But John Ralph did an article on it, and he was like, it's a no-brainer, really easy for them to get. So easy to get. Like, they do this, they do that, they trade down, they'll have the picks. he did the same about Carlton with Harry Dean, and he was like, Carlton are about a pick shy of matching the team pick if it's in 10. Works out 450 points. But he worded it as if it was impossible for Carlton to do it. Like, if Carlton don't trade out, they lose Harry Dean. And I'm like, hang about. In the same article you wrote a day ago, you said 1,000 points is easy to find. Yeah. Right? Now you're saying Carlton are going to struggle, and that's why they have to trade out. So it's fascinating how they word it, because they know we'll get upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the insinuation with Carlton and Essendon reporting is always that the sky's falling. It's antagonistic to the fans. It's fear-driven in order to get a reaction. Gold Coast have no fans. So there's no point, John Ralph, putting in effort and being a bit sneaky and a bit creative with his reporting, because there's going to be no backlash, no clicks. So, I mean, but are we to blame because we haven't learned our lesson in buying into it?
You see, I always think passion is worded as a bad thing in this country, but I think passion is what gives freedom. Do you know what I mean? If people were passionate 100 years ago, we'd all be speaking German and Japanese. Do you know what I mean? We'd be living in tyranny. So sometimes passion is a very fucking good thing. I do think what's fascinating, though, is I think sometimes it's easier to sell a lie. And I find that with content, when you're well-rounded, it's very hard. So few of my comments on my Charlie Curnow video were from Carlton fans who were mean to me. And I hate using that word because I don't really care. I've got no feelings, so you can't hurt me. But they were unhappy with me that I said that maybe Charlie Curnow isn't worth what Carlton fans think. But being well-rounded is boring. It would be a better video if I said, Sydney have to give up Goulden, Heaney, and a future first because Charlie Curnow's the greatest player ever to walk the face of the earth. The truth is boring, and I think the best person in the media, I hate to say this as a Carlton fan, but he's Hurdy. I think Hurdy is, I could listen to Hurdy all day because everything he says is built with fact. It's built with concise measurement. He isn't an idiot. He doesn't speak just to speak. He speaks with purpose. And that, to me, is what I think journalism is. And it scares me to think how ill-informed I am when I was a kid, because I used to watch the news because I was told watch the news, become intelligent. As I've got older, I've realized watch the news, become less intelligent, because it's very easy to twist the narrative to what I want you to think if you don't listen. So that's why I'm really glad my kids live in this generation where we can look at 5 different versions of events as opposed to being told. Because if you listen to the AFL and that's where you get your news, you know nothing about the AFL. Like, it's fascinating how much they get the draft rules wrong, how much they get the bidding rules wrong. John Ralph is my favourite because last week he said Carlton, there's a law that they can't get 2 first-round picks for compensation. Now he's found out that that's a fallacy. So now he's just subtly doubled back and said, could be banned 1. Carlton could have 2 first-round picks. But last week, he specifically said the AFL has a rule that you're limited to 1. And I'm like, how do you not know the game you're talking about? I'm English. I found it out quite easy. You're paid for it.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I love this comment from Voodoo Generation. These pro commentators are journalists are why channels like yours are growing in stature. Exactly, because we're calling out the bullshit. We're calling out the lies. Before YouTube channels and content creators in the AFL, they were getting away with this shit. They were getting away. You're right. Now we're throwing cold water on his nonsense. It's like Jake with Kane Corns, holding people accountable, holding receipts. You know, we're in this industry, and if you're going to say and put this bullshit out, we're going to come back at you with them. And I'm sure it's going to happen both ways. But
I probably wouldn't do a Jake though and do a video celebrating your bottom 5.
I mean, he wasn't celebrating bottom 5. He was celebrating Naz. And I think that is something to celebrate. And on that, I think that's a good segue. Should we get on to celebrating the year that was and forget about the crap? Should we get this TwixLow
Let's talk about these beautiful boys that make up this great football club. Let's talk about them. I'm looking forward to it.
Are you ready, everybody, to get to rounds 1 to 5, where there are so many numbers on the board, where almost, yes, actually, Richard, let's take a moment. Even Fiona, Pommy told Fiona off for not getting having a beverage on a Monday night, and I've got myself a red wine out, and Pommy's on the coffee, on the tea.
I'm on a tea. Let's put that vicious rumor to bed. No one
I mean,
drinks.
one is as bad as the other. Unless that's got some Baileys in there, I think you've let everybody down.
Look, your Pommy. I have moral code. I don't have alcohol in the house, so that is the only reason. So that's a spiritual.
This is a special occasion. Could you not have gone out and gotten just a little? Anyway, we move on. All right, let's go, everybody. Rounds 1 to 5. Are you ready? Now, I'm just going to actually, before I start, I'm prefacing this by telling you all that there's about a gazillion slides made. So there is most likely going to be an error, a spelling mistake, a mathematical mistake. So don't tell me, don't be mean. I'm just telling you that it's there, because by the end of this shit, I was seeing cross-eyed and I had to create a spreadsheet, and those are the dumbest, most ridiculous things ever. I hate spreadsheets, and they hate me back because it was all fucking up. All right, on that note, here we go. Rounds 1 to 5.
You don't get that at the Crichton, do you? The host telling everyone to shut the fuck up. I love that.
No, Sarah Jones is much more polite than that. But here we go. Rounds 1 to 5, which encompassed games against the Hawks, the Crows, the Power, and the Demons. And we also had a bye in there. As you can see, rounds 1 to 5, we have pretty much where you see a dash means that the player did not feature in any of those games. Where you see a 0, it means that they were given a 0 and did not score at all in terms of in terms of getting a half a Twix, 1 Twix, 2 Twix, 3 Twix, 4 Twix, or 5 Twix. As you can see, Zach Merritt has a very convincing lead. Are there any shocks here to anybody?
Well, I mean, you can see there, young Archie there. Look, bit of 4.5 with Sam Durham. You know, grafters, workhorses. Good to see. You know what? There's a big loss, Jai Caldwell. I talked about him in my Pomlaw this week, that you actually forget how good Jai Caldwell is. Like because you haven't seen him like for most of the year. Like, you forget how good he is. And then you look at Zachy Reid as well. Like, how good he was going at the start. Like, 2 guys straight away got a bullet very early doors.
You will see, I'm going to be putting up leaderboards at the end of every 2 slides. You will see how well Calders, Caddy, Martin, Setterfield, and Zach Reid were polling. You could see, and I have recently watched our Brisbane game and our Carlton game again, and oh my God, Caldwell, Caddy, Setterfield, Martin, absolutely flying. And it was a wonderful reminder. If you're feeling down about Draper and Ridley, don't go anywhere, because we've still got the TwixLow to happen. But afterwards, if you need a pep up, watch the second quarter onwards in the Brisbane and Carlton game, and you will feel much, much better.
You know what? Like, he's a player that I take seriously. I do take seriously. I think you're spot on there. There was a lot of positives at the start of the season. I mean, this round, I always remember doing the Essendon Adelaide game, and that was the game that Zach Merritt just like took the piss.
Yeah,
like was brilliant. And then young Tommy Edwards looked like, because you just had the injury at that point, hadn't you? And then Tommy Edwards had like come in and looked brilliant, and you were thinking, okay, they've got one here. It was genuinely a real unfortunate area, wasn't it?
It was awful. All right, let's move on to the next 5 rounds, everybody. That is rounds 6 to 10. These are just the totals for those 5 rounds. So those games included games against the Eagles, the Magpies, the Kangaroos, the Swans, and the Doggies. So as you can see, we start to get a few soldiers back in terms of getting back. Draper stands up. The forwards are where it's kind of breaking down. The defenders start to get a run for their money here. They're getting much more, their jobs are getting much greater as the rounds go on. Any surprises for you, Pom?
Not really. No, I think one of the things that really I look out for here, and I think Jono's nailed it, is you're looking at some of the consistency here. Like I know it's Brownlow voting with an amendment. It's the TwixLow. So
Yes.
but look at Archie. He had what 4.55 in the first batch of 5. Now he's got about the same. Like that's what you're looking for from your senior players, isn't it? You're looking for that level of consistency week in, week out. I can hold my hat on, and it's quite when you see some of the bigger names have kind of done that. Shaky Snake, I did chuckle when she brought it up, and I saw the big ginger was.
Hey, let me put an end to this. You will see that there is no bias in the end of this leaderboard. You will see that my poor heart is broken because there is absolutely no bias here. Absolutely no bias. This, I believe, yes, as I said, this game included the Eagles game where he kicked 75 goals. And so this is why he scored very well in this chunk of games. So
I'm just teasing you, and you took the bait. I'm so happy
I absolutely took that bait. He triggers me.
We caught one. But yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, again, look, Zachy Reed, like what a big loss. A guy that looked like he was breaking in as a key. Looked like you really had got what you hoped Ben Nakai would be.
He was flying, Pom. Zach Reed was flying. He looked like he would not be perturbed by absolutely anyone. Calm, composed, everything you want, everything you thought this guy would be, he was.
And I think, and I know it's easy to say because I'm not invested, but one thing I've enjoyed about watching the Bombers is Sam Durham. Like every time I've watched Zach Merritt play, my instinct is who's helping him. This year, I think Sam Durham's help has been incredible. And
well, look at Nick Martin there. Martin
and Jai Caldwell.
Yep.
The start he had, he's got 3 midfielders there that can do it.
Yep. All right, let's get on to the leaderboard as at round 10. Here is the leaderboard, just doing the top 10 for leaderboards as we go on. And then towards the end, I'll show you the total end leaderboard. Very few surprises here, except perhaps, as you can see, look where Zach Reed is. Look how good of a start Setterfield had to the year, and he didn't even start it. Nate Caddy was absolutely flying, and Sam Draper was looking like he was going to have an incredible year. Any shocks for you here, chat? Pommy, any shocks?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd forget about... I think most people might have forgotten about Setterfield. I didn't, because I never forget. Cowton fans started doing my favourite Cowton thing, and that's remembering a player we've lost and now telling me I wish we had him back. And Setterfield, after 3 years, started to come back on Cowton forums. I was like, Jesus, I'd forgotten he even existed. But you know what is reassuring? Spot on Zach Reed, great start. Archie Roberts, what a player he is. Nate Caddy. At this stage, I was being very cocky in my preseason prediction that he was going to win the Rising Star. Nate Caddy, I thought he was going to have a blinder this year, struck down by injury. But it's a fairly solid list. I mean, like, how many of these ended up playing the whole year? Merritt?
No,
Roberts?
Merritt didn't. Archie Roberts played the whole year. Jackson Pryor played the whole year. Who else played the whole year, chat? There was one more.
Games. Would it only be? Would it only be Martin? No, on that list though. Would it only be
on the list? On the list.
Merritt,
Archie Roberts.
Merritt and Roberts, who played 20 or more games.
Only Archie Roberts played every game on this list, right here.
And
McGrath is the other one, but he doesn't feature here. But stay tuned to see McGrath. I've got a feeling
that's crazy, isn't it? If you think about it, like at this stage, that's crazy.
Exactly. Question from Jez, Pom?
Look, if you look backwards, you'll never go forwards. So, you know, what happened, it happened. I mean, I spend about a minute a year worrying about the past.
Yes. Alrighty. Hey, Pom, what's it time for now?
You know what it's time for now, chat. It's time for an extra special award. You've got not just TwixLows on offer, there is themed versions of snacks. And which one are we doing first, Fiona? Which one have you got for us?
Let's start off with the Gooey Goodness Award.
Ooh,
This
good
award is
names,
awarded
these.
to the best player under 50 games. He played 23 games, actually 24 games, 24.2 games. So there's my first error. He averaged 24.5 disposals per game, ranked first among all Rising Star nominees. So there's a little hint for you. He averaged 18.4 effective disposals, again ranked first amongst all Rising Star nominees. He had 95 rebound 50s for the year, once again ranked first amongst all Rising Star nominees. And he had a whopping 8,209 meters gained for the entire year, again ranked first amongst all Rising Star nominees. I think we all know who this individual is. Congratulations to one Archie Roberts.
Oh, you impress me every time I do a live with you. I tell you, you know what? You haven't lost your novelty. You're doing very well. You know, he's a terrific player, isn't he, Mr. Archie Roberts? There, like you've got to think 54 from memory in the draft.
Yep.
Was Archie Roberts. Like you think about that, like overlooked that many times. And the things he's done this year are unfathomable, I think, for a player of his ilk. And we've just seen it the first 10 rounds. Darren nails it. Mr. Consistency in a team that was under duress. He put his head up. And if this team had 5 or 6 more of that mindset,
yeah,
they'd be out of this mess quick, smart. What a footballer. Future captain of this football club, I think.
Without fail, Pom, without fail. I feel he is absolutely the next captain. I feel safe with him at the club. And I think he's the prototype now in terms of what he stands for, how he plays the game. He's also an exceptional human off the field. He's a different person on the field. He's aggressive. He's an animal. He wants to win. He gets excited for points, for smothers. He's the best teammate out there. And he is the prototype now in terms of who we trade and draft for. He has to, whoever we trade and draft for must embed some of Archie Roberts. So well done, Archie. You get the Gooey Goodness Award. All right, everyone, let's go to
Great
rounds.
Name as well. I'd love to meet the human being who came up with some of these names. I reckon he's a real good human being to know.
I mean, I roll. But anyway, rounds 11 to 15 included games against the Tigers. The Dreamtime game included games against the Lions, the Blues, the Cats, and the Dockers. As you can see, we have. Look at that midfielders list. Every single player, every single midfielder there / winger played, except for Dylan Shield. My, does that change in the next few slides in the next following rounds? Look at the availability in those midfielders. Wow, does that die off? This is obviously the block where Sam Draper and Nick Bryan go down. Vigo obviously got his debut. Look at Toddy Goldstein there. Absolutely taking some heavy loads. Archie Roberts coming hard. And so too is Isaac Kako.
Yeah, and it paints the tale, doesn't it? We just talked about it. Caldwell, 13 Twixes in this period. And, you know, we won't see him again after this, will we not? Like,
nah.
Wasn't it about now that he's
11 games he played? Yep.
Yeah, his season ended, wasn't it about now? But again, look at Archie Roberts, and it's fascinating because Void makes a great point. The best, any idiot can get a first round pick, right? Like, it's quite easy. Where the best teams thrive, it's them late picks. And look at Archie Roberts versus Dylan Shield. So, not picking on him, but Dylan Shield didn't play in this block. But we're expecting, we gave a very good guaranteed pickup for Dylan Shield, and he hasn't really produced. And at this time of his career, we'd be expecting him to have that Archie Roberts impact. And it's scary, isn't it? But it's looking at it now, just how many players are on this list for 4 games, where usually your team is humming. Like, you'd probably expect to see 25 names, wouldn't you? Like, there's half an AFL list playing at this point.
Exactly. It goes very, very downhill from here. But let's take a look at the next block of rounds, round 16 to 20, which includes a bye. It also includes games against the Suns, the Tigers, the Giants, and the Bulldogs yet again. As you can see, the midfield starts to lose its power, as does the ruck, and the backmen become even more under duress, let's say. The forward line also not humming so great in this block.
Just quietly, as a shots and off in Jackson Pryor, he gets a lot of hate, doesn't he, old Pryor? But you see he's polled nearly every block of games, which is kind of, when you paid nothing for him, that's probably the Brucey bonus of him. But it is fascinating, isn't it? Like, when you're starting to see these names, because this was like really desperation stations now, wasn't it? This was when Fiona called me and was like, Pom, you want to watch Essendon games twice a week? And I was like, Jesus, stop flirting with me. Nothing I'd like more. But there, you look at it, look, Sam Durham, what a hero he is. We've given Archie Roberts his props, but Sam Durham, he really did. If there's any highlight this year, it's him becoming a man, really, isn't it? He really did boss that midfield and help his captain out.
Yep. And Lockie Blackiston, as you can see, the hero that was Lockie Blackiston this year, also started to find his confidence and find some rhythm in the back line there. And so that was great to see. Should we take a look at the leaderboard now as at round 20?
Yeah, then we'll do another award. But I agree with Dave as well. Dave, this was where CAC season started as well, wasn't it? We forgot we haven't given the CAC dog.
Yeah, he just starts to hum now, Dave. Don't worry. He starts to hum
the CAC
beautifully now. Yeah. All right. Let's take at the final total leaderboard as at round 20. It's starting to take shape. The top 10 leaderboard at round 20. As you can see, it's getting closer. Look at Nick Martin there. What is to come is devastating. Nate Caddy as well. Look at Calder's still up and about there, but obviously he's gone down at this point now. And as you can see, Xavier Duursma is also making a bid to get up the ladder here.
I mean, the sad one, I think, straight away is just number 4, isn't it? Nate Caddy. And like this game, this game is a real fascinating game because AFL is so bizarre when you watch media, because they froth a defensive stat, and it winds me up because at the end of the day, this game's about kicking goals, and you look at sport nowadays, it's about points. No one cares really. Defense is kind of a secondary thing. It's all about the offense. Nate Caddy is one hell of a footballer. Like, he is one hell of a footballer. And he can make something out of nothing, can't he, Nate Caddy? And he was starting to show it this year. He was playing for a team that was struggling, but he was having them moments of genius, which sometimes can bail you out. And kind of sad, isn't it, that Nate Caddy didn't get to play the whole year?
It's devastating watching that Brisbane game where he's just doing the ridiculous, the absolutely ridiculous, the magical. And I think, okay, we're in good hands because Kako is just revved and ready for 2026 now, having played every game this year. Archie Roberts, as we've spoken about, and Nate Caddy. I mean, and you just said with Jai Caldwell, if we can get him playing every game, Sam Durham will take less of a load and have to do less. But it still relies on every single one of those injured players getting out there. So, alrighty, let's go to the next award.
Ooh,
I'm gonna go with the Choccy Fix. This is awarded to the vibiest player, and let me tell you, chat, that was not my definition of this award. That was Pom's definition. the vibiest player since the Twix Awards are based on vibes, not just stats.
Me.
That he played 14 games. He averaged 5 marks per game, so that's ranked 4th amongst all Rising Star nominees. So giving you some clues here. He went at 87% time on ground average per game, which is ranked 5th amongst all Rising Star nominees. And he definitely, most likely, 100% wins the best Fox Footy family interview for the year. Congratulations to Angus Clark. You get the Choccy Fix award. Well done, young man.
What a terrific footballer is Gus Clark. Big fan of Gus. I'm a sucker for a halfback that can play on the wing, and he really came of age, didn't he, this year? It's funny because I think the AFL has like way too much fascination with maturity, doesn't it? Maturity and mature bodies, and sometimes just the exuberance of youth can bail you out of it. And when you look at players like Zach Merritt, he's been in this shit heap for a long time, hasn't he? He's had to wear the load. It must make him smile to see Gus, Archie, two guys that are already bleeding black and red. You can see it in them. They stand for what Essendon stands for. You look at a club with great history like that, you want to see players go out there and play with pride. And I thought he really was the example of that all year. So massive shout out to Gus Clark. I thought he grew and became quite the player towards the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think he grew in confidence too. And again, another one who's completely different persona off the field. He's a gentle guy off the field, but on the field he is an animal, and he has an insatiable desire to compete and get in the face. And I just get in the face of opponents, and I love it. It's a confidence that you don't often see in young players in their first year. So, and he ran, as we've spoken about, he ran so many kilometers in this year during games, 15 kilometers plus most games. So yeah, he had a wonderful year. Very, very impressed with Pup Clark's year. All right, so now that we have totals for as of round 20, the leaderboard, we're going to take round 21, 22, 23, 24.1 and 24.2 as single games. So here is round 21 versus the Swans. As you can see, look at the midfielders, look at the ones, look at the dashes there, look at the unavailability, and look at the forwards as well that have gone down in this block against this game, and the back line also, the mainstays have gone down. So Sam Durham again leading the way for the mids. Isaac Kako showing that he had a wonderful back end of the year, and majority of the votes going to the defenders because they had a lot of work to do.
Yeah, it's scary as well, isn't it? Because when you look at this game in particular, you're playing a team that themselves had a bit of a rough year. I think they were hard to place, but you look at it and you're thinking like Dylan Shield, senior player, give me something.
That's right.
Even Xavier Dursman, not picking on him, but this guy's played a lot of football. He knows it. And to see him outshone by some younger players, that hurts your soul, doesn't it? Because they're the guys who you want to stand up. And then when you look at the back line, Jaden, who can forget having a crack at Papley, a man that can only maintain an erection if he has his own reflection on him. Fascinating, isn't it? But Archie Roberts, tell you, you know what? If it's true that I'm a double agent, like you suspect, maybe all this glaze for Archie Roberts is to get him to the Blues.
This is also starting the start of Mason Redman's ascendancy. He had a wonderful back end of the year, and it also starts the Andy McGrath ascendancy. So as more midfielders go down, so too do those more experienced players stand up. So let's go on to round 22 versus the Cats. Now, this was a much better showing than the first time we played them. The dashes remain for the midfielders. We don't get many soldiers back. And to be honest, we don't get many back across the board, but it's very clear that our forward line fell down spectacularly, except for Liam McMahon and Isaac Kako, who carried the load.
Yeah, I mean, Maka kicking a goal on Sam de Koning was a delight, to be fair, of this game.
Yep.
It's a tough one because, I mean, I can't give enough kudos to Sam Durham. Like, you've seen him pole against incredible midfielders. And that's tough. That's tough because on your way up, unfortunately, everyone's better than you. So you need guys who are willing to dust themselves off, maybe be second at times, but make sure that they put their head over the ball, make sure that they deliver. And I can't give him enough kudos. I thought him and McGrath were brilliant towards the end of the year, that they really did put that line in the sand and they made it hard to be beaten. And that's sometimes I think Essendon, especially at the start of the year, were quite easy to beat.
Yes.
And they had a good team. I thought they were a lot harder to beat when some of them players left, which shows good signs when you've got some potency in the team. There might be a way out of this.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was when I watched the replay of this game, I saw it kind of restored a little bit of hope in me because I started to see the semblance of an actual game plan. Even though we lost, obviously, badly, it's the Cats, don't forget. But I did start to see signs. So whilst some of these score lines don't reflect it, you can kind of see where it all went wrong. And that's in the forward line. And that is a very obvious, improvement area for us. The delivery into the forward line, that synergy and cohesion between the mids and the forwards, leading patterns for the forwards. I mean, the forwards actually getting to know each other and playing more than a handful of games together. So I kind of did see some ball movement that I quite liked in this game. So I did like that from this.
Yeah, and I think it's always hard, when it's dark to find some light, isn't it? And it's easy to get into that situation to just it's all shit. Let's just turn off our computers, turn off our TVs and not talk about football till March. But it's important that Scotty Rosas will be looking at this and going, right, okay, we've got a job to do. There's no doubt about it. But which of these players are going to take us forward? And I think at this stage, you actually saw some players put their hand up as well and say, you know what, I'm here for the scrap. And I think a little bit like what Carlton are doing at the minute as well. I think that's what Essendon have got to do. Make sure you focus on the guys that want to give blood, sweat and tears for you and not just have them around because they're big names and you like them. And I think Maka was a big thing in there as well, Liam McMahon. I think over this period of football, when he came in, you saw his deficiencies, but I'll tell you one thing, he was trying and he was doing everything he could. So that's a positive moving forward if you can have more mindset like that and less mindset like Dylan Shield, who is there to top up his super and get a spray tan at the end of the game.
Couldn't agree more. All right, one more and then we'll go to another award. Let's do the round 23 versus the Saints. Lots of points, lots of Twix given out, but look at the dashes in the midfielders and we almost won this game. Look at the dashes and look at old Goldie. I loved this. I loved how good Andy McGrath's got the 5 there for the most, but look at Goldie. He was enormous in this game. Absolutely loved it, as was Cole Langford in his game back. But the midfield, they battled. They did their best, but the work was done by some brilliant individual moments. And again, look at Archie Roberts and Mason Redmond and Andy McGrath coming good.
Yeah, this was because our first Twix was the game before, was it not? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
The Geelong game?
2 games. Wasn't it the Geelong game? Yeah.
Yeah, you see? Oh, yeah. See? Good memory.
Ooh.
Hey, I might be getting old, but it hasn't set in yet. But no, this was a fascinating game. This was my lock of the week. I remember teasing Jake that the Bombers, that my Bombers, I called them as well, which was noted by chat, were going to Dickie's Saints, and it didn't come true. But some signs, wasn't the Redman really grew into his role around this time, didn't he? He really started to show that leadership in the back line. I do think when you look at the midfield, though, and this is one big area that I'm focusing on the off-season, the midfield is very one-dimensional with the players that excelled. And before we all got excited by Big Nas, I think it's worth remembering that Nick Martin was that mid-season draftee that everyone got excited about, who could burst through lines, try and get something going. Definitely missed him. You can see this is the type of game that Nick Martin, watching this game back, it felt like St Kilda could bore you to death, and it needed that je ne sais quoi, and there wasn't quite that je ne sais quoi in that midfield line to get the job done.
Yeah, completely agree. It was a team effort. Darren, the Twix only Twix, the most you can get is 5, except for the last round in an homage to Don Caldwell, who suggested the double points. The most you can get is 5, so he got the maximum votes possible. This was certainly one of my favorite days of the football this year, that's for sure. This Saints game, good company and good game in the end. All right, let's do an award. This award is the Biscety Crunch. It is awarded to the most improved player in 2025. This player played 11 games. He averaged 5 intercepts per game, 92.5% average time on ground, which is 19th in the entire competition. This man also suffers from a case of mistaken identity, and that is because he is not a backman, he is a ruckman. Congratulations to Lockie Blackiston on winning this. Unfortunately, you have not played enough games to warrant many photos of you playing, so I've had to use training photos and also your official Essendon photo. I just had to give this award to him because I just think from where he came from, not only being coming in as the mid-season draft, but coming in as a ruckman to then play the entire year after that, every game as a backman. I just think he grew into the position. He grew into his body, into confidence, and it was just incredibly wonderful to see him finally get some reward for the effort and the concentration and the confidence that he ended the year with. So well done, Lockie.
He's definitely, there's some things that I get annoyed with. One of the things that I get annoyed with is the mid-season draft. And the AFL fan base and media are stuck in this weird mindset of everyone's got to be a superstar. I see it. I'm sure Felix will agree with me as well. You cover the draft long enough, you actually get bored of hearing everyone talk about the top 3 selections. And you want to talk about pick 30, pick 40, the guys that are the building blocks of flags. The stars will always be the stars, but it's them grinders. It's them guys that take it. And the mid-season draft is fascinating. We're starting to see a shift in the AFL that people don't focus on doing trading in superstars. They're trading in depth. You look at the teams that have had success the last 2 years, Collingwood, they've traded in solid players. Yeah, you could argue Dan Houston's a superstar, but outside of that, they've traded in second chance players like Darcy Cameron, who John Ralph ironically said was the stupidest downgrade ever from Brodie Grundy to him. Worked out pretty well. And I look at your Essendon in the mid-season draft, and because of necessity, you had to go mature players. You couldn't go, let's do what everyone else does. Find an 18-year-old that was undrafted this year and hope everyone's made a mistake. Yeah. I think Essendon might have paved the way for the modern day football thing. Use this for a guy that can impact now. And I think Blackiston has played how I expected the mid-season draft to be used. Probably came in going, right, okay, I might not play, but at least this is one hell of an experience. 6 months on the list, build my resume, maybe get a game at the end of the season. He's come in and he's had to play on Jeremy Cameron. He's had to come in and
I just love that from Shaky Snake. Imagine that. You're coming from the waffle, you're on the other side of the country, and you're like, mate, you're playing next week, and your matchup is probably at some point going to be Jeremy Cameron, the Coleman medalist.
And this is what the Essendon is so important. This is why it's so important for Essendon. You can get blindsided nowadays, and a lot of the top clubs do. And I think that's why Richmond got so much criticism for killing their list, because they're a big brand name. Oh my God, Richmond are doing the bottom out rebuild. And look what Richmond did. They brought in players that their biggest ceiling trait is grafting. It's working. Blackiston's is what you want more of. Guys who are willing to go, right, okay, 1 minute I'm working in a post office, playing ruck in the waffle. Next minute I'm on arguably the best key forward in the country. Next week I'm on Charlie Kerner. The week after I'm on this guy. And always being able to front up, that is infectious. So is Blackiston best 23 next year when everyone's fit? Probably not. But he's now got credits in the bank to say, Ben Mackay fucks about 2 times. I'm ready. I've stepped up. And that's infectious. And hopefully we see this more from clubs. Don't be scared of going for these 23, 24-year-olds in the VFL.
Well, I think this is even a great step in the right direction in terms of the quality of depth. Because as we've seen this year now, your whole team can go down. And if your depth is not of sound quality, you're going to go absolutely fucking nowhere. And I think Don Caldwell brought this up on Twitter, and I'm giving him credit because he was the first one to bring this up. And he listed all the players in our best 22 for next year, what we think. And then he listed the depth from that. And the depth was looking pretty fucking good, if you do say so myself. So if at best he is a depth player who, as you say, if Ben Mackay's fucking around or if Zach Reed is, neglecting some rehab or something, well, he's ready to go and he's not going to rest on his laurels. He's got a taste of it now and he's going to want more. So I just think even as depth, that was brilliant.
Amen. And it's one of them things that is super, super annoying. It's super, super annoying when people talk about the draft, talk about sport, they don't ever see. It's quite hard. It's quite hard to nail these picks. And you look, great question by Darren, right, of players. So no one in the mid-season draft, no position in that averages more than 40 games, right? Pick 2 is the most successful. But since the mid-season draft has come back in, the players that have played over 50 games as of now, so this is 2018 onwards, not back in the 80s, no one cares, right? Ryan Marich is one who's played over 50 games. Jai Newcomb is another who's played over 50 games. Massimo, I hate to bring him up, but he has played over 50 games. So your statistics there from there, and you can maybe count Ryan Gardner, who I don't technically count, but you can do because he was on an AFL list. And Schnelling is the other one with Peatling. And Sam Durham, ironically, you've actually had success, but you look at where you guys have gone. So it's 5 players since it's been reinvented have played over 50 games. And it's funny because the guys who have played over 50 games have all played state football for 2 years prior. So it's the secret. And unfortunately, this is what the problem is with the AFL. We're obsessed with sexy. We're not obsessed with consistent. And look at the top teams. Top teams, they all have 4 or 5 A graders. It's their depth is strong that wins them the flag. Peatling coming from Adelaide turns them from 15th to number 1. Not superstar names, Neil Bull and Peatling and Cumming. They're incredibly, they're A-grade role players. That's how you recruit.
Yeah. I think, I think we've nailed those mid-season drafts, so we need to keep doing that. Can't stop now. All right, where were we up to, team? Round...
you just done Sydney game from... No, you haven't. You just done St Kilda.
We did that game?
No, you just done St Kilda.
All right,
So
we
round
did that game.
24.1.
All right, so we have 2 rounds to go, everyone, of the TwixLow. It is round 24.1 against Pommy's Blues. Once again, that midfield struggling to fire. It was all really left up to the defenders in this game. The forwards did okay. Isaac Kako played through the midfield, which I could have popped him over in that line. I could have put Andy McGrath over in that line, but for the sake of consistency, I've kept them where their true positions lie. It was a tough old night, this game. Any shocks here for you?
Not really. I try and do fun things with Fiona if I can, because I enjoy her company, to be honest. But this was probably one of the worst ideas we've had. Let's sit together and watch this game, because aesthetically, it wasn't great, was it? Let's be honest.
No,
it was a tough
awful
game for both teams.
It was actually painful, but thank God I was watching it with you, because, man, I feel like I would have switched off. And very clearly in the next game, it was so bad that I started the fan cams during the game. So, so it was, awful. And it was difficult to award the Twix, wasn't it? Because it was a very bad quality game.
I'm looking forward to doing 24.2, because when Fiona texted me, "What are your votes?" and I gave her my list, and she got a reply, "What about the others?" And I was like, "No, they're the only people that I deem anyone with votes." I mean, what was interesting about this game, though, from a Carlton point of view, the guys that really impressed me were Mason Redmond and Archie Roberts. I thought they were incredibly impressive. And then Isaac Kako against Carlton's midfield, that is an awkward midfield. Bang.
Agreed.
He did really well. He did really well. So phenomenal acquisition.
Yeah, and as you can see, Angus Clark was absolutely brilliant in this game, and as was his compatriot on the other wing, Xavier Dersma. So I thought he had one of his better games for the year in this game, which is, well, he's had a pretty consistent year, Durs, but I thought he was really, really good, and it was great to see him stand up leadership-wise without so many. I mean, I keep looking at those dashes in the midfield and that unavailability of those players, and it hurts your soul to see that, and it makes you think what could have been one or two of those players back. But anyway, not to be. Also the defenders, Jayden Laverty was out as well, and so it was poor old Lockie Blackiston back down there by himself in the Wolves in the Lions' den. All right, let's get to the last award of the night. It is the Golden Rapper Award, and it's awarded to the MVP. He played 22 games in 2025, 5 inside 50s average per game, which is 15th in the entire competition, 19 goal assists for the year, which is 20th in the competition. That's a stat I love. He's averaged 27.8 disposals, which very high up, 13th in the entire competition. But of those, 427 of them were effective, and that's 20th in the entire competition, and that's the important part. So congratulations to the MVP, Captain Courageous. Probably didn't have the year he would have loved. Personally, I think he looked mentally zapped towards the end of the year, more so than physically. I think he could have gone on to play 15 more games, in terms of his body, but his mind looked completely zapped. So I hope that he really gets a refresh in the off-season. And where would we be without him? I hate to think.
Yeah, I mean, he had to stand up. Tough year for him, and especially when we've talked about it round by round, we've seen the midfield arsenal he's had has got less and less and less and less. And tough one for Zaki, tough one for him. But You know, one thing I want to credit for Zach for, it wasn't long ago, it was only a few years ago that the media were panning this guy for his tackle application, his defensive craft, saying he was lazy, hands on hips. Watching him as a rival Carlton fan, I think I watch him and there's a bit of respect there. You can see that guy grinds. He works hard for his team. He's working incredibly, incredibly hard. I don't think anyone can question his effort, which I think is good. So sad for him that he's had to go through it. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And let's hope he has a full season next year with a full band of troops.
Yeah, and more specifically, Pom, the leaders, because the majority of the leaders went down and the ones remaining were really not stepping up to help him when he needed it most. So we hope all the troops are there, but specifically the more experienced leaders for Zach. All right, everybody, the time has come. It is the last round, 24.2. Don Caldwell, if you're here, we gave double votes for this game. So you'll see some sixes throughout and some questionable votes. But just remember, there were double points for this round. Here is the last round vote against the Suns, which was an awful game. This is the final round for votes. And we are going to get to the top 10 countdown after this. But Sam Durham and Zach Merritt, both with the 2, doubled to 4, carried the midfield. Clarkey did what he could, as did Durst. Archie Roberts was the standout for the back line and beyond. His energy in this game, you could have closed your eyes and forgot the ladder and thought, geez, that guy's playing for a spot in the finals, or he's playing for top 4 in a team that's battling for top 4, because that's how he was playing. He believed in the start of the game. He believed that they could get back into it in the second quarter. His energy, his excitement at the goals. I mean, I know we keep talking about him, but magical, this guy.
Yeah, this was a tough watch, wasn't it, Fiona? Let's be honest. This was a very tough watch. Look, I'm not a Bombers fan, but tell you what, even I felt your pain. Like about 20 minutes into the first, my heart started to ache, which is a big thing. But like you say, the ones that I agree with you, I think there was the players that scored votes in this game, Kako, Roberts, they looked like they were trying, weren't they? It looked like it was life or death for them.
Yeah.
Some of them, it felt like
they were already in a goal close nightclub. Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It felt like some of the chase, particularly Dylan Shield, I hate to be horrible to him because far be it from me, but never seen anyone have so much ball and do the easy thing.
Yeah.
And that kind of made me sad to watch, because this was like, you were playing for your contract. I don't know if he was told before. He wasn't, but it felt like it was kind of the whirlwind tour of farewell, wasn't it?
Yeah. He certainly didn't look like he gave a shit either way, to be quite honest. I know that sounds harsh, but see, I told you, Langy, I told you, chat, there was no bias happening. I just could not bring myself to give old Ginger Man a vote, unfortunately, as much as I would have loved.
Tell you what, though, shout out Dave and Jade who went to this game. I hope you didn't fly from Victoria.
I mean, Jade did, as she always does.
Oh, Jade. Genuinely, I commend thee. Because that would have been hard. Like, that's hard yakka, that.
Yeah. I had a mate at the game as well, and he texted me and he said, I'm not coming on the fan cams. I've had an awful night at the footy. It was just that game. It just left that bad taste in your mouth, and it's gotta leave a bad taste in the players' mouths as well to end the season that way, which even makes it more gut-wrenching for me that we didn't pinch that win against St Kilda, because they just deserved it. They really deserved a bit of happiness to end this season. Wasn't to be, but yeah, exactly. He did. I had to give him, he did kick 3 goals, Darren, but that's it for him. Now, before we get to the countdown, there were 2, I don't know if anybody was keeping track, but there were 2 players out of 44 who did not score even half a Twix. So 2 players out of 44 who did not score even half a Twix. So 2. And it won't be who you think it is. So chat, I'm giving you the opportunity now. There are no cookies to be won, but for the fun of it, have a guess. Pom doesn't know either who those 2 were. So Pom, you can take a guess as well. 2 players who played more than, let me check my notes, played 4 or more games that did not register even half a vote. I don't know if any of you were paying attention, but all right. So we'll get to your choices, and you could put your picks in now. Pom, do you want to think about it, or do you want to give me your picks?
So they played 4 or more, did you say?
Yeah. So they've definitely played 4 or more, 3 or more. So a good,
Okay.
not a big chunk of games, but could have they had an opportunity to score at least half a Twix.
I'll go straight in.
Okay,
right?
go.
Oscar Smart and Harrison Jones.
All right, that's Pommy's picks. I can see some picks going. Yep. Ooh. Okay. Some interesting picks, chat. All right. With that said, let's get to the countdown. It's a top 10 countdown. Coming in at 10. Who would have thought, given the start to the year he had, but then all the soldiers went down and he had no choice but to step up? It is Mason Redman, who finished in 10th place on 16 Twix. Bit of a shock, actually, when I was doing all my calculations, and fair play, I could have added up wrong, but he came home strong, very, very strong. So he finds himself in 10th place. Any shocks here?
No, not really. He was very quiet at the start of the year, wasn't he, when we did the Twix calculations? But
yeah,
credit to him. Sometimes under duress, you learn something about you. And I do think, I always say, that's probably where I'm the most critical of my football club when we're losing. I'm looking at who's standing up, and I think Redman really did stand up when shit hit the fan, which says a lot about him, and he's probably learned a lot about himself.
Yep, I completely agree. I think it would have felt much better about himself the way he ended the year. Going into his exit meeting, I think that was a better way emotionally and energetically to finish a year. All right, let's get down to 9th place. Congratulations to the ever-consistent Xavier Dersma. Congratulations, Zave. 18 Twix. He also came home much stronger than he started the year, I think. I think he had a pretty consistent year. As you can see, he didn't poll many fivers, but he polled consistently half Twixes, 2 Twixes, 1 Twix in most games. And that is a pretty consistent player. I think most of the Twix awards were given on his effort and his work rate.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? I think what's fascinating about Xavier, and watching you guys a little bit more intently, gives you a little bit more of a different perspective when someone calls you and says, can you actually judge these players? So you kind of look at them a little bit differently in the terms of okay, I've got to try and really analyze this guy. And one thing that surprised me over the last 10 weeks with Xavier is he actually works fucking hard, man. Like, I think I came into Xavier Dersma hype with a preconceived idea. He works hard when the ball's in his hands. But what's really been a pleasant surprise is just how much he grafts off the ball as well. So, yeah, well done,
Best
Xavier.
thing about him, Pom. It's the best thing about him. Yep. The best thing about him is what he does without the ball. He's always an option. He often gets neglected. He often gets ignored, but he is an option, and he is the option there. And that's what we love about him. And that's why he got a vote in a lot of games. Maybe not high top votes, maximum votes, but a vote nonetheless. All right. Going into 8th place, would you believe it's a player that only played 11 games? 11 games. Congrats to Jai Caldwell. What could have been He polled 20 Twixes in 11 games. He had an absolute cracker of a year, and it just hurts my heart that he did not play more games. I actually, when I saw 11 games, I actually thought he played more than that, just in terms of it felt like his presence was out there more. But I think it's because in the games he played, he was such a huge presence, and energetically too. Like watching back some of the games that he was in, he was just a powerhouse in terms of his presence. He's not a huge figure, but his presence was known everywhere on the field, in the forward line, in the midfield, in the back line. He was a presence.
I think you nailed it. And when you look at Jai Caldwell, you look at how much you paid for him. It roughly works out at 1,200 points, right? It is the difference from what you did. So it's a bad way to look at this, but see that as pick 11 in your mind. Pick 11, right? In the AFL calculations. Now, I know there's people out there who tell you, oh, you shouldn't do that. But I always say, if there's a way to, if there's a mandatory value, you can't argue it. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's a steal for what he is, and just shows limited games, his impact of how important he is. So I'm a big Jai Caldwell fan. I know there's going to be lots of links to Bombers players. The media are going to be like, everyone wants out. I think a player that everyone would thrive to have on their club would be Jai Caldwell, the way he goes about it. So I'm very excited about seeing Jai next year.
Yeah, me too. He's almost one of our most important for me. He and Zach Reid together, I just think we go so far with both of those. All right, we also go very far with this next guy who, again, he played 17 games, so a bit more of an understanding that he finishes here, but it also makes you in awe of Caldwell finishing 8th. This guy played 17 games. Congratulations to Nate Caddy. He pips Jai by half a Twix, and probably because he did some ridiculously incredible, magical things that he just pips Jai. But, I mean, I'm so excited for this guy's future.
Yeah, I mean, always a worry when you played, 17 games this year, and from memory, he was, second in the goal kicking?
Yep.
And from memory, they were like the harder games as well.
Yeah, against the higher opponents on the ladder, definitely. He played really well against the higher opponents.
Yeah, and I remember his draft really well as well. I always think that the worst place to judge a player is who went after him, because I think that's what people do. But you look at who went after him, I don't think there's anyone who went after him that, maybe with the exception of Manor, but I don't really count him as a draftee. He's 100 years old. I can't believe he's the Young Player of the Year. Crazy. But he's a phenomenal player. And again, already in this poll, 2 key points of interest for the Bombers, 2 players that missed very important games.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now, coming in at 6th, this guy made an absolute bolt to the finish line. I don't think anyone would have seen this coming had he stayed in his position, but it so happens that he had a move and he comes in at 6th, Andy McGrath with 22 Twix. I think a couple of those 5 Twix games absolutely jolted him up to 6th here, because he wasn't looking very good on the leaderboard. He was outside, I think, from memory, the 10 before he did have those couple of games in the midfield where he was brilliant. So an interesting one for mine, given that who knows where he ends up now.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating what Essendon do with him next year. It really is. And he suffers from that little example I did. He'll be forever known as could have been Taranto, could have been McCluggage. So it's a horrible situation to be in. It's bad draftology. I always tell people, never look after, because when you make them selections, you only have their junior career. Unfortunately, no one gives you a crystal ball and tells you what they'll be in 20 years' time. Make it easier. It would do, I've got to say. But, Andy, this is where the AFL is still 30 years behind anyone else in sport with a draft. Because Andy will be judged probably harshly by the media that he hasn't lived up to his hype. But you look at the NFL, you look at the NBA, a lot of successful clubs value consistency and backing it in. And I think McGrath this year has shown that. Putting back on the midfield, he was arguably one of the more important players on the field. Some players just aren't sexy. And unfortunately, Andy is what he is. He's never been a prolific user of the football. He's never been a guy that's going to break lines and change the game. What he was in his draft year over Tim Taranto and the Scottish handbag was consistent. He will put in. And I'm a big fan of Andy. Like, at the end of the day, nearly 300 games, you'd take that all day long from pick one. Has it been 300 games of all Australian quality? No, but it's been 300 games of solid football. And
I think he's a bit off 300 games, Pom.
Isn't he? He'd be about what? He'd be close to 200, wouldn't he?
Did he just 150 or something? 200? Just, he wouldn't be close to 300.
Let me have a look. How many? There, so 180. So he's going to hit 200.
Yeah.
He's got what? 5 more years left. He'll hit 300.
Possibly, yeah, possibly. I think I'm willing to give him his credit when he moved into the midfield because he looked like the shackles had been dropped. But if he does go back, he just has to work. He has to put in some yards for me in terms of the panic and his disposal. And perhaps he gets better when there's better players around him to take, players like Zach Johnson and Jaden Ewan. I don't doubt his leadership. I don't. I think he's a great leader off the field. But I think he's got to do more if he does go back.
I can't think of a worse player to play at halfback, like genuinely.
Well, then we're in strife because I don't know that he gets back in the midfield.
No, but just genuinely, like when I look at it, it's almost as balmy as Carlton playing Ollie Hollands there. Because when I think of a halfback, I'm thinking if he's a distributor, which is why you would play a player like him.
Yeah,
his ball use ain't it. But why can't he play in the midfield? Like I genuinely, I think the top midfields now, it's not the 80s anymore when it's just 6 guys that can't do maths playing in the midfield. The top midfields rotate heavily, so be interesting. Is Andy someone that you slot across the half forward and play him back in the midfield and spurt him through? Because then all of his bad kicking is hidden by forward pressure and a midfield, and then you float him through there as need be. I just think halfback flank, he's not a great defender. He's not a great user of the football, but he's durable. He works hard. He gives second and third efforts. I just think you're exposing him. I can't think of a worse player.
He is a good lockdown defender, Pom. He if he's got that role and that role only, he's very good when he gets a project player to lock down. Bobby Hill will tell you all about that. But I just don't trust him basically as the distributor and using the ball and getting us out of situations. The panic is written all over his face and his body language just goes into that panic. And I think the others feed on that, and then it makes everybody else panic. So, but I still think this is a very great finish for him, and I think
he's done well. I think he's grossly underrated. I think all of us have. We all have a love of the stars. I think sometimes we undervalue the guys who give 5, 6 out of 10. But like when I watch him, there's a difference. Alex Chincotta tagged Keziah Pickett out of the game, right? And I think he won 5 out of 5 of his one-on-one contests on the ground, which is great. Would Alex Chincotta, though, would I consider him a great defender? Absolutely not. And when I look at great defenders, Andrew can stop you playing, but this is 2025. The top of the ladder is who can generate scores from the back half of the ground. I don't think Andrew can do that. So all the top defensive half players can stop you and hurt you on the counter. So I find it fascinating that we get. I'd have him ahead of the ball, not behind the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to it. I just don't. I don't know that we necessarily go that far with him in the back line, but interesting to see. All right, let's get on to number 5. This guy only was able to play 16 games, and it hurts my heart. I actually still feel sick about this guy not being there for the first 16 rounds of next year. But well done, Nick Martin, coming in at 5th on 23 Twix. I mean, I actually, every time I remember that Nick Martin is not going to be playing most of 2026, I feel sick. I still feel that. I feel like I just watched it happen, or I just found out about the news that he'd done his ACL. So, I mean, he did manage 16 games, but he's just so important to us. He's so important. He's an important part of Brad Scott's plans as well, which is devastating. But I guess what it does do is it opens up a spot for somebody to take responsibility and take it on, I guess.
This one really hurts me as well. It really hurts me because I enjoy seeing this kid play football. He plays football with a smile on his face, and as I've got older, that's such a valuable asset, I feel. I remember watching him years ago in his draft because he looked like an extra from The Simpsons, no offense to him. And I remember one thing that went against him, and it's something that goes against a lot of players, and it's funny. It doesn't get picked up enough, but he got a lot of the ball. And I don't think you can teach that. I always say this, you can't teach that. It goes against you when you read draft write-ups. He gets a lot of the ball, doesn't do anything with it. That was Nick Martin. He found a lot of the ball, and he found it in a team that wasn't always winning. I think he's I'll go as far to say Martin is one of the most underrated players in the AFL football. And it's because he plays for you. It's because he plays for you, right? Because you see Nas, and I'm not comparing him to Nasir, but Nasir Wanganeen had a spurt of 8 weeks where Bro was doing the unthinkable.
Yes.
And I always say this, look at St Kilda's midfield. It's slower than my nan, and my nan died when I was 16, so that's going back nearly 20 and a bit years. So anyone could do that. I think Martin is of that ilk. He is a guy that can change the game, and it's heartbreaking. We've talked about Caldwell, we talked about Durham, and we've talked about Merritt. They've kind of got the midfield now where you can play Nick Martin loose and have less defensive responsibility, more sexy time.
That's right.
He's going to be a big loss.
And they were working their way up to it. That's what I mean about Brad Scott's plans. Everyone's going on, what's our game plan? We don't have any semblance of a game plan. Well, when all your pieces are missing, when all your plans, your preseason plans, do you not think that the coaches had set out a plan? And maybe you would say, well, where's the plan B? Well, granted, fair enough. But if you don't have the players to kind of, implement the plan, well, that puts your season in jeopardy. And I just think that the coach has had such big plans for Nick Martin, and it's ruined everything.
We love a little bit of Nick Martin. I see Gus is in chat as well. It did, but Carlton's midfield is considered what? According to Dan Hoyne, the slowest midfield in the competition. Most one-paced. Point proven.
It is. It is completely. Carlton's midfield is one-dimensional.
Yeah, completely. But you also saw Carlton towards the. I always say this: what we got ascendancy from you against you was Sam Walsh. Was playing Sam Walsh, because Sam Walsh is something a little bit different than the other guys we play. He takes the game on. He can run both ways. He doesn't run in a straight line, huffing and blowing. So Nick Martin's very important, and it's a shame. The league isn't as good without the beautiful Nick Martin playing football next year.
Absolutely. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Gus. Good to have you here. All right, everybody, let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Let's go into number 4. Would you believe this guy who comes in at number 4? Get excited, everybody. This guy is going to be on the list, and he is going to be joined next year by another 2 little friends who are going to be just as magical as him. I hate to put the pressure on them already, but congratulations, huge congratulations to the wonder that is Mr. Isaac Kako. I mean, you are a wonder, young man, every single game, and you did not look like slowing down when you should have been looking like you're slowing down. You were given more responsibility in the back end of the season, and you did not look like you were taking a step back. It's a credit. It's a true honor to your professionalism. We're talking about injuries and standards, and what about this guy? No hint of low standards and low value for being a professional footballer and taking it so seriously and seeing it as the gift that it is, because this guy did not take one tackle for granted, did not take one missed tackle for granted. If he missed one, he goes for the second and the third and the fourth, and he does not stop. Has he got things to work on? Yes. But man, I tell you what, the ceiling is so high with him and Nate Caddy in at number 7 there. Can't help but be excited.
Yeah, he's another one. I don't know if Felix is still in the chat or if he's gone to bed, bless him, but I'm sure he'll share the same things as me. When you watched him in the draft, there was just something about him. Like there was that star factor, that kind of thing makes you want to be 8, 9 years old again. And have him on your wall and pretend to be him down the park. And he's grown strength to strength. And we just talked about Nick Martin being a loss, probably opens the door to here. And we've talked about the Saints midfield. I'm sure Gus will agree with me as well, because I know he's a football man. I'm sure the Carlton fans will agree with me. One thing that all three of us do at times is become a little bit too flat-footed, a little bit too defensive first, don't concede from stoppage. And the way to get the game on the front foot is just pick the ball up and take off, attack. And Kako was a nightmare when Carlton played him. You could see he didn't have the greatest game. He didn't have 30 touches, he didn't destroy us. But you could see already 2-3 years' time, when that guy gets the nous and the confidence and the know-how, he's going to be an absolute menace. So I'm a big
He's
Kako
a menace
man.
of a matchup. He's a menace of a matchup everywhere he goes.
Well,
he's always on the move. He's always on the move, Pom.
One of the best players I've seen in the last 10 years around stoppage. And I think Chad Warner has taken it and gone up to another level, but was Tuke Miller. And one of the things Tuke Miller did incredibly well, and it always breaks Carlton's spine, is he hangs about on stoppage, just runs as fast as he can in a straight line at the ball, pick it up, and then get out of there.
Yep.
That's what Kako's got. There's no second guessing. He sees ball, gets it, he's going with it, and he's so clean. Them one-handed pickups he did against Carlton, I'll never forget.
Below his knees.
He turned Patrick Cripps inside out because it happened so quick. And I always say this in the draft. People go, he's got to put on size. Nonsense. I remember that about Nick Dacos. Nick Dacos is too small for the Monday game. I was like, try and catch the bastard. Because it's easier to escape a 25-year-old man than it is a 17-year-old boy. They're quicker and
it's
sharper.
not like you're seeing Kako get knocked off the ball all that much.
Yeah, because you've got to get to knock him.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Can't see me, you can't catch me.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like people were saying to me, Cripps will kill him if he goes on the ball. Yeah, he will do if Kako's an idiot and stands next to him and goes, come on, Cripps, go on. I was like, Cripps has got to get there. And the problem is Kako's gone before you get there. So, great player. Can't wait to see him next year. Void, brilliant. Yeah, Bo McQuarrie, very similar type of player.
Yeah. All right, we've got into the top 3, everybody. Coming in at 3rd, he had a remarkable year. He ended the year incredibly sore because the way he plays his football, if he can't influence a contest, he uses his body to influence the contest in an exceptionally smart, clumsy way to not give away frees. He puts his body on the line. He is one of the most courageous players in the AFL. It's a wonder how he does not get more concussions, but congratulations. In 3rd place, Sam Durham. Congratulations. He is a one-man wrecking ball. He has had to shoulder a lot of the load this year, and I have to say has played sore a lot of this year. Purely because, and I actually confirm as well, Xavier Dursma also played sore a lot this year. because we had nobody to replace them. And so pretty wonderful effort on both of their parts.
Yeah, in an era where your Nasses of this world, of your Kakos of this world, of your Dacosses of this world, they're always going to get the BNF. They're always going to get the kudos. No one wants to go and see Sam Durham play football, right? They want to see Kako do the sexy things. They want to see that Nick Martin do the sexy things. But Sam Durham is the glue that allows the pretty little paintings to be stuck on. I love these types of players because I think everyone underrates them. There's one in the draft at the minute this year, the modern day player, Dyson Sharp. Everyone is bagging him. Clear number one player, though. Clear number one player. Like for me, you don't know anything about football if you're not having him in your top two. Like he's consistent. Sam Durham, see the same. He makes people better. And that is an incredible trait to have, to do the hard work to allow other people to do it. Sam Durham in the team, you find another Sam Durham, you've got him, Jai Caldwell. That allows Nick Martin to do what the fuck he wants. That allows Isaac Kako not to have to worry about headbutting people just to play football. And they are so incredibly important and so incredibly underrated in our great game. The guys that just win hardball, do it every week, capable of taking their moment. But the most important thing is they make better players great. And I love Sam Durham.
Yeah. He's not your poise. He's not your, I guess your finesse type player. He's your scrubber, but you always know you're going to get 100% effort, and he's going to put his dependable. His teammates know what they're going to get from him, and I just love. He's got to be up there with one of the most courageous in the league, I would say. Alrighty, here we go. Coming in at second is the one and only Zach Merritt with a whopping 36.5 Twix. There was no catching. It was very close up until, the Isaac Kako, and then Sammy Durham and Zach Merritt just took the way. He ended the year in true Zach fashion with 6 screws in his hand, barely able to feel one of his mitts. And I think in what would have been a really mentally taxing year for him, I think he did well to even finish second. I mean, it says something when he isn't playing his best football that he's still finishing second, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And you know what? It's great to see them 2 and 3, the heartbeat of the midfield, work hard. And I do feel for Merritt, because I think he was probably thinking at the start of the year, I've got Coldy, I've got Durham, that's good, these guys are going to come with me. If you told him at the start of the year Kako will be that little pain in the arse dynamic mid, Andy will come back in the midfield and help you out, he probably thought, fucking hell, this is going to be quite an easy year, I can just chill out a little bit and captain. And he's kind of had to go back to 2023, 2022 Zach, hasn't it? Him against the world. And it's unfortunate. I'm a big fan of Zach Merritt, though. I feel like, see what I said about Durham. They don't get enough love at times in the media because they're not taking the piss, changing the game. Yeah, Paris as well. Spot on, Dave. Didn't have them. He's had to do it again. And a lesser man would have probably been frustrated by now. And I think he does show a bit of frustration. But I do think, one thing I can never question about Zach Merritt is he's putting in, and God bless him, because it can't be an easy job.
No, certainly not. Being an Essendon player is not an easy job, and being the captain of the ship, oh man, not something I would want to do. All right, we all know it, but without further ado, congratulations to the legend that is Archie Roberts. Would you look at that? 49.5. He is your King Twix. Well done, Archie. In your second year of football, you have taken the award of King Twix. Congratulations. I can't think of a better man to take the throne of King Twix for 2025. Exactly, Jeremy. Pick 54. What an absolute steal. If you get him at pick 54, and today I came across on YouTube Brad Scott's call to him on draft night, and I just think, wow, he had captain written all over him in that phone call. And would you look at that, the top two, current captain and next captain, without a doubt. I'm running out of superlatives for him. And I mean, this is his second year. He's going to be frothing for next year.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame we didn't see it last year because then we would have potentially had 3 rising star calls. Because you go back and watch the draft profiles, I was hot on this guy. I'm a big believer of consistency is better than sexy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to find. That the je ne sais quoi player needs it. Nick Dacos needs Jack Crisp, right?
Yep.
Needs Bruz. Walsh needs Cripps and Hewitt. All them type of players need that guy. What all of them need, though, is an Archie Roberts, the guy who week in, week out, he's a high floor player. His worst is 7 out of 10. His best is 10. And he's boring. Like, he got to the stage of watching Archie Roberts this year. I actually got bored. He's like white paint. He's like white paint because you just know what he's going to do. You know he's going to win the ball, win the ground ball, hit a target, keep the chains moving. And he is a phenomenal, phenomenal player. A man that has grown from a less than 50 gamer to playing at times like a 150, 200 gamer. Very mature. And long may it continue because I think he is an absolute superstar of the game. And it's heartbreaking that Murphy Reed, the sex appeal, is probably going to wing out. Dan Curtin's probably going to get the plaudits because he's playing for a great side. The guy who's played in a side that doesn't get the ball very often, that doesn't play good football, is incredibly hard to do. To be a half-back guy, hitting targets, getting transition football going. If he was playing for Collingwood right now, Adelaide, any of the top 8, we'd be having a conversation of why he's not all-Australian.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And it doesn't make any sense. It should count you. It should give you extra votes when you're playing in a bottom 4 side rather than working against you, to be quite honest. I just think he's been phenomenal. And he'd also be one of the best to coach as well because his attitude is infectious. He's a competitor at heart, but he's also a sponge at the same time. So he's never going to fight against he's never going to fight against the coaches when they're giving him feedback. So I just think he would be absolutely incredible to coach. All right, so let's take a look at the next 3 slides for the rest of the leaderboard. This is the top 10. Let's look at 11th to 20th. As you can see, Setters did really, really well to still finish there on 14.5. Twix, he had a great year, in my opinion, a wonderful year. Any surprises for you on this list? Anybody who you think, chat, or anyone that you think should have finished potentially a bit higher?
I think it's probably the guys that I'd say like par for this. If you told me at the start of the year Blackiston would finish top 15.
Yeah.
My first question would have been who? And my second question would have been what? So, I mean, that shows what we said, why you won an award tonight. But also you're starting to see names, aren't you, of people that you really need. Like Zach Reed. Like, if only he played 23 games.
I just love you, chat. Here we go. Two comments in a row. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So it just goes to show we all see the game so differently. It's hilarious. I mean, we all know who I agree with. Darren, of course. However, I tried to be neutral on my Ginger Giant. I thought it was pretty good effort by Jackson Pryor. I thought he was pretty good. And, yeah, Zach Reed finishing 15th when he really didn't play many games at all is a pretty good effort too. Let's look at the next. The 2 who didn't score are coming. Not the next chunk, 21st to 30th player. Remember, we had 44 players, so the list goes on. now it's getting pretty dire in terms of input. A lot of these players obviously didn't play a lot of football at all. Any shock for anybody here? Kind of would have loved for Archie Perkins to be finishing. Like, this is the biggest disappointment for me here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the names, isn't it, that are on this part of the list now when you think, right, we've had a lot of injuries. We really needed that mature help. And the kind of names here have either been injured or without being too mean, just absolutely dog shit is probably the nicest way. The nicest way that you could say it, isn't it, really, to be honest? And
yeah,
it is heartbreaking in a way at times, isn't it? Because like Zach Johnson, you're happy with that because it's a rookie pick, speculative. That's probably a huge win. Langford should be in the top 10. Like that's where I know he's been in and out of the side with injuries, but no doubt about it, top 10 should be top 10. He can turn a game. Draper would have been top 10 had he stayed fit. Perkins,
Lang has played 9 games, so that is a little bit harsh, but I agree. Yeah, generally, yeah.
Yeah, but like if he was there, like that's what you want. And then like Dylan Shield and Ben Mackay being injured, yes, but these are the players that you desperately need out on the park.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Desperately out on the park and need to up their level when they do play. So it's a shame, but some positives there. Wow, he's been a breath of fresh air, hasn't he?
True.
Guelphy still irritates me. Just his existence annoys me.
I love that. It's so true. I mean,
because he's weird. Because the difference between him and Jai Menzies is Jai Menzies doesn't be physical, where Guelphy has them moments of physicality that people like, and that annoys me covering the game as well. Like one moment of people used to say it about Liam Stocker. Oh, he bumps people. And I'm like, yeah, that's fucking great. 20 meters off the ball. Does he win me a game of football though? Like same with Guelphy. Need more from him because he's capable.
The thing with Guelphy, and I've said it before, he's not in love with winning a premiership. He's not enamored with football. Like Archie Roberts is, like Sam Durham is, like Zach Merritt is. They eat, sleep, breathe winning a premiership, and he just doesn't. So, all right, now many of you got at least one of the players who did not score a Twix in the entire year. Pommy just goes to show how wonderful and how genius he is because he got both players correct. It was, in fact, Harrison Jones and Oscar Smart who did not poll even a single vote.
I just say no shenanigans, that chat. That was just genuinely a gut feel.
He genuinely did not know. Harrison Jones played 7 games. Not really his fault. Most of those were on the wing. We know he's not a winger. It was more of a induction for him. And Oscar Smart played 4 games, and you'd say his goal kicking probably did him in the end there. So maybe a little bit harsh, but unfortunately, the one of Vigo I have very high hopes for, and arguably could have got more than 0.5 for his wonderful game against Fremantle. Archie Wicks, I still have question marks on. He looks very far off it in my eyes, but willing to give him that extra year.
Sad, isn't it? Sad. I mean, like Oscar, you've got to say this. There's probably a bit of potential there, isn't there?
I don't know if we're going to keep him, Pom. I reckon we might cut him.
Hopefully you keep him in the VFL, though, because he was strong in the VFL, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Like he's probably come in at the wrong time, and it's not really a player. Like I always feel like small forwards are the harshest done at rubbish teams.
Yep.
Because it does require you to be pretty fucking good as a team. Small forwards flourish in fast ball moving sides.
Exactly.
Harrison Jones is the most irritating player in the world, though, to watch for me because the talent is there. There's so many players I watch in the draft, watching it religiously, that they play good football, but they found the level.
Yep.
And the level was junior football. Because up in the bigs, you need the brain, the IQ, the toughness. And there's something lacking, isn't there, with Harrison? Like, really annoyingly lacking.
Mm.
You seem distracted, Fiona. You okay?
Sorry, yes, I was just checking. I was just checking on somebody's question in the chat. Yeah, I do also note, as you can see there, which I did mention, the only 3 players to not play on our entire list: Nick Cox, Alwyn Davey, and Kale Jarine. I mean, it still blows my mind, to be honest. Yeah, Harrison Jones is an interesting one because before he was moved onto the wing, which I was told by people in the know that there was a very purposeful reason for it. It was an induction. It was to kind of, that modern day winger is getting taller and getting more agile and more flexible and having a few more strings to his bow. So it was essentially as I said, an induction to the role. So the one thing I love about Harrison Jones is he can take a really good mark, and he did show that quite a bit, but he just faded out of games really easily, and that's to be expected when you've gone from being a forward to a winger that runs up and down, is required to run up and down all game. He doesn't have a tank like an Angus Clark. He's not going to run 15, 16K a game. So he did really drop out of games. I still have a bit of a soft spot for Harry Jones. I think there's something there. I probably have I see more value in him at this point than I do Tom Edwards, to be quite honest, and Liam McMahon. So I would persist with him. If you're asking me about Oscar Smart, yeah, I think he a VFL. I'm not sure he's done enough, especially given that we've got Alachka and Swade coming in. I think he probably gets dropped, unfortunately.
It's going to be one of them annoying ones, isn't it? Because, like, at the minute, you've had 2 cut, haven't you? Correct me if I'm wrong. Davey and
Menzies.
Yeah, and the guy who invented the Labour Party. So, yeah, and your list is still 34, just checking my sheets. You're going to have to kill a rookie anyway, because you're already over that threshold.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the rookie list, Jesus, it's like a who's who. You got Pryor, May, Vigo, who's already extended. So that takes into the capacity of rookie A for how long he's been on. Sard, Archer Daywicks, Tom Edwards, Blackiston, Smart. You'd say he's probably the favourite with Innie. He's probably the favourite to go. I mean, he's definitely one of them players that, if in an ideal world he was the 44th player, you'd maybe give him another year. But yeah, he's annoying.
And it's also just on who's coming in. If you've got depth in that spot coming in, if we didn't have those 2 smalls coming in, I actually think they'd keep him.
Yeah, I mean, your list spot's in a weird shape, isn't it, though, to be honest, Fiona? Like, this off-season is going to be fascinating. I'm just checking your list now on my spreadsheet, but Draper, Hobbs, Setterfield, Laverdy, Goldstein, Pryor, Lowell, Blackiston, Smart, McMahon to make decisions on this year. So, that's 10 players. You've delisted 2. You've already got to delist 1 rookie. But you've got great picks. So you've got to say, look, you're going to definitely get 3 top-level picks. So that means that you're going to delist 4 of these guys that we just talked about. Draper will be one of them, so 3 more.
Yeah.
It's a real interesting position because that's that's a quarter of your list you've got to make a decision on. But with all due respect, Draper, superstar. Hobbs, Setterfield. Hobbs, bang average. Setterfield, great to have around as your second replacement. Because what he did at the start of the year, that's what Setterfield does. He can do it in spurts. You won't back on him doing it every day. Laverdy, he annoys me. 5 out of 10 footballer. Goldstein, 100 years old, he has to go. You've got to give it to Vigo and the young lads. You've got to.
Yep.
Wow, you keep him exciting. Blackerston's safe, and then McMahon's smart. It's fascinating because the guys you're getting in that top 5 selection, none of them are like the replacements for them guys, which is really weird. So you think you'll have what?
Weird.
Yeah, there's apart from there's no one really in that range that replaces anyone we've named.
So true. Hey, chat, you also did remind me that I literally forgotten a whole chunk of players. So I didn't forget them. They're here. So Jezzy, as you can see, Jaden Laverty 2.5 and Shaky Snake, Nick Bryan with half a Twix. So yeah, there are, as you can see, Elijah Sardis, 1 Twix. We no doubt would have wished and hoped and wanted more from him. But yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you for bringing me up. I completely bypassed 30th to 38th. There's just so many players. There's 44 of them. I got confused. But here you go. Jay Gresham, I mean, I can't believe he's got a year to run. Reese Unwin. Unwin. I think there's something there. Al Hooley, I'm happy to see for another year. Parrish, boy, I hope he gets himself right because he was instrumental in a couple of those in the 4 games that he played or handful of games he played for us. And Archie May has a contract for next year. So a few handy players here. Lewis Hayes is the devastating one, obviously.
It is, yeah. And you know what? Sandra makes the best point, and I love Sandra so much. Like Carlton and Essendon, biggest problem is they believe they have a grand final list. And
yeah,
the players we're talking about, your stars are always going to be your stars. I always say this. Carlton a couple of years ago had 8 All-Australian nominations, didn't get close to winning the final. This year, it was like half of the All-Australian nominations were dogs.
Yeah.
Finished 9. So star power is incredibly overrated because every team has a good player.
Yeah.
2 or 3 players that potentially play for every other club in the league.
Yeah.
It's this part here we want to see guys who are going to jump up into that middle tier we've just done. Your 20th to 30th needs to be dead solid. And you look at this here, a lot of these guys are on the outer, aren't they? Like Laverty, he really annoys me, Laverty, because he can be brilliant, can be rubbish.
No, I don't think he can be brilliant. I think he can be okay and then rubbish. I think he's serviceable, but I think he's. I mean, I keep saying, Pom, that Essendon are in their upgrade era. So whilst I loved Setterfield's year, I loved it. He'd got his body right. He got a stomp on the foot that fucked him up. It's just unlucky. But if we're going to go further, if we're going to stop overestimating our list, we need to upgrade on Setterfield. We need to upgrade on guys like Laverty. And we need to upgrade on guys like Jay Gresham. So
I 100% agree. I mean, I've seen him play against Carlton where I think he locked down. It was Charlie, wasn't it? He locked it. So
yeah.
You want that elite, when I say brilliant, you want that A-grade role player. So you want him to be able to be locked down a player 9 times out of 10, keep him to a max of 2 goals. Everything's gravy. And Laverty can do that. Like 1 minute he can lock Charlie down to 2 goals, but then play against Dave from the Dog and Duck and Dave kicks 12 on him. And you're sat there, what the hell's just happened? So I agree with you. He's got to turn into someone like Starcevic level, but without the medical history of Starcevic.
That's right.
That's the worry. Darcy Parish has to stay fit. He needs to be.
It's upgrade or no. It's got to be an upgrade or it's a no. I'm being ruthless here. Hey, Bugs Bell, we got enough problems. We got enough problems of our own. We can't keep our own on the park for different reasons, but we got enough problems. And yeah, Jez, as you're right. Yeah, we'll take Ollie. Are you willing to part with Ollie, Bugs Bell? Because we'll take him in a heartbeat.
No, because he's exactly what you need. You need to, they're the types of players that help you up the ladder. Guys who just do their role. But Gresham's the one that annoys you. That's got to be someone who is mercurial. Like, he's got to be a maverick. You want him on the field, and he's the maverick guy. The guy that, when it's shit, kicks a goal out of his ass, the vibes are high. Jade Gresham is all about Jade Gresham. I hate to say it.
Scotty. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, God. That's so funny. I love you. I heart you. I'm in my ruthless era. And it's not the wine talking.
And you're in the
She's
right
having a
place.
wine on a Monday night. Who is she?
This is going to get loose. But no, you're right. Like, you're 10 to 20 players on your list. You want to be better. And it's going to be fascinating because the guys you've got two beautiful NGAs. They're brilliant. You're getting Kako 2.0.
Yep.
In them.
Two. Yep. Yep.
Right. But it's that them picks. What you'll have 3, 4, 5 with the Draper. Let me check my maths book.
I mean, that's before all the.
So if the Sam Draper comp goes off, it's 5, 6, 7. So you look at that there. It's fascinating what you do with that. Part of me thinks you do something sexy with one of them picks.
Here's my take. Here's my take. Here's my wish for if we do end up getting Draper goes and we end up with a really good compo pick, I would love for us to convince Eagles to give us their top pick and give them back a couple and secure Willem Dersma with that top pick. I would love for us to do that. If we don't get a compensation pick high enough to secure that first pick, or if Draper ends up staying for some miracle, which he's not going to, let's be honest, then I don't think we do that. I think we take 2 quality kids. Only if we get that third top pick, I think bundle 2 of them up. And
so let's say it's true.
Yeah.
So you get Dersma through the door.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming that you're trading. It's going to be quite a lot for 2 because Eagles will know the value of 2.
As in, it's got to be quite a lot. We've got to give them a lot.
Yeah, like I can't see.
Didn't you see that list? Here you go. Do you want the list again? How many do they want? They can take their pick. They can take. Here you go. How many do they want to take from here? I'll give them 6 from this list. How generous am I being there? All right.
So Shaky Snake, to answer your question, it would affect the compo because it's a net loss. So there's rumors going around. If you watch Carlton's Twitter, you'll get confused because Carlton Twitter have somehow found it as a net loss on salary cap, which, like, when I saw someone explain that articulately, I was like, of course it's going to always be a net loss if you lose someone on a salary cap. So what the fuck are you on about? It's a net loss per player, right? So the problem is, there's been a few cases of it. Carlton bets with Daisy Thomas.
That's right.
Is a case. It affects. It's the net loss. So you have to lose a player through that medium. So the problem you've got is Starcevic is a restricted free agent. So what you would have to do then is the AFL loophole, which has been done 3 or 4 times. And that is where you actually offer a pick to negate that. So there is nothing in the AFL rules that stops that you could just negate a pick. So there is talk, though, because Brisbane has been talk because the Eagles are doing the same. Now, the Eagles are claiming they're going to appeal to the AFL for Starcevic as a being allowed to take him and then lose Oscar Allen and still get their comp. The other way that there's been talk is that the offer coming in, they will actually match it, which would then force a trade anyway. So because they won't do it for one and not the other. So I agree with Dave, though. Starcevic is my concern because with head injuries getting worse in the AFL and the AFL being completely panicked about having a head injury to the point of being sued, they seem to force them to retire very quickly. And I think Starcevic is brilliant. Worst thing that could happen is you give someone, he gets knocked out round 3, heaven forbid, and he retires. Then you look at it.
I also think we should trade Sardis for Zane Duursma?
See, that's what was my next follow-up question, because you've actually ruined my video, but I've got the Duursma duo video coming out later this week, is where we focus on, could that be a thing that you pair the family together?
What's better than one Duursma? 3 Duursmas.
So I find the Duursmas fascinating because I find that the AFL has this thing, and I've never seen it anywhere else. This is an Australian thing, but being brothers evidently makes you magical. I have never heard so much nonsense about brothers until I came to Australia. Everyone wants to play together. Every brother wants to be there. And I'm like, fucking hell, I love my brothers, but the last place I want to be is working with them. I'd rather work with Hitler over than any of my brothers.
I don't give a shit that they're brothers. I just think that they're all good players.
I think in this case, it could actually work out the best for you, right? In the terms of having the Duursmas together. Because I think there is something there. Zane really worries me because I feel like he looks like a player that, while everyone else has been allowed to be creative at North, they have focused on one thing, and that was his tackle pressure. And I think he feels pigeonholed by that. All the other young kids he's had at North have been allowed to be creative, face up, like to real be expressionable. He feels like he's been typecast. I actually think Zane would be a great.
I wonder why they've targeted him. As, pinpointed that, because the others aren't perfect. They all have their defaults.
Yeah, I just think. Look, I agree with you, Mariella, to an extent. The Danahers, yeah, but the Duursmas, the big thing when you look at it, the AFL media loves it because I've seen it about Willem quite a lot this year. They're rubbish. Like, be wary. Xavier wasn't as good as they thought he was. Zane wasn't as good as the top 5 pick. And I'm like, look where they came, though. Like,
they've just gone to the clubs where you die.
Yeah, and it makes me quite sad because, I've heard it about Duursma. I've been watching him a lot in the draft. Incredibly talented. He is an X Factor player, And you know what no one talks about is this is a guy that played centre half back. This year they had an injury. He went and played centre half back. So a guy that is an attacking midfielder put his hand up to play centre half back for 2 quarters. Not many players would do that. Can you imagine Nick Dacos going, you know what, fuck my stats, mate. I'll go and play centre half back. I'll do that. I'll fill in. I think he's a great guy. I think Zane has got a lot of untapped talent, and Zane Duursma gives me a Tyson Stengel vibe. Genuinely a Tyson Stengel vibe at Adelaide.
That's an interesting comparison.
Well, what I mean is, you look at Adelaide, you saw glimpses of the talent, but he wasn't really allowed to express himself. And then he had the drug incident, which, may I add, the stupidest AFL suspension in the world, right? Because this kid wasn't just banned from state football. He was banned from all levels of football for effectively a slap on the wrist by the cops, right? It is, but look, he went to Geelong. Geelong knew what he was. Keep him in the pocket, let him dance. And I think you've got that position at Essendon. Bring him over. He's with the boys. I've never seen interviews with Yasmin, the girl, Xavier, Zane, enjoy themselves when they're together. There is something about it. So that's where I maybe think maybe that equilibrium, you put them in together. Zane is incredibly a good footballer. Like, he's an incredibly good footballer. I just don't think you've seen it. And I think North have to sell their mid-forwards because for some reason for 5 years, all they've drafted is the same player.
Yeah, I don't think... I wouldn't read anything into the fact that they haven't looked like they're enjoying each other. I think I don't think they'll even take notice of it, to be quite honest. I don't think it's that big of a thing. Like, the media will make more of it than
the media will. But I do think their vibe. I do think Zane looks genuinely a shell of himself. I was watching him in the VFL a couple of months ago, and he just looks fucking miserable. Where Zane Dursma, I remember, looked like he was living every day like he was in the schoolyard. It looked fun. So he's genuinely one of them people that I think you bring him in.
But that's why I think it could be good for him to have his older brother there.
Oh, I do. That's what I'm saying. I think all three of them together would tail wag.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the idea. I think it's there's just something about that. Not that they're brothers. I just think that there's do you reckon do you think that's who says no to that deal? Sardis to North, Dursma to Essendon?
North.
Yeah.
It would be the single stupidest thing North have done. I wouldn't put it past them, because this is a club that when they have a top 5 pick, instead of doing what normal clubs do, like Richmond did last year, or you know what, we'll go back and then we'll go forward, then we'll get a mid, then we'll go with a ruckman. They just went, oh, you know what, statistically midfielders are the best players to draft in the top 10. Let's just keep midfielders. And I find North Melbourne fans fascinating, because they're like, oh, why can't Clarkson fix our list? And I'm like, you've got a bloke called Toby Pink as your best defender.
Yeah, so true. And they've neglected. They just keep
do you know what I mean? Like, midfield depth is cool, and it's fascinating because North fans are turning on Zane Dursma, and I find it weird, because I'm like,
but they're neglecting to take forwards to help Nick Larkey. I mean, I get bringing in Jack Darling. I personally think he was great for Nick Larkey this year, but they're just neglecting to take young key position players. And I don't know why. As you say, midfield depth is great, but at some point you got to beef up your stocks. But anyway, that's North Melbourne's problems. I think hopefully everybody who's tuned in tonight has taken a bit off your mind. This show has taken a bit off your mind off the news of Draper and Ridley over the last couple of days. We might end the show there. Congratulations again to Archie Roberts, Zach Merritt, and Sam Durham, rounding out the top 3. I mean, no real shocks there, let's be honest. Thank you so much, Pom, for all your efforts. I know I'm sure I speak for all of the Essendon supporters who have met you virtually this year, that we are so grateful that you've come into our little family. It is little for now, but hopefully we grow. You've been an absolute light for me, and thank you so much for everything you've done and the person you are. We love you.
Oh, you're all sweet. No, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been fun. It's been fun to learn that Essendon Football Club. I've got to say, it's been a wild ride. I did not expect to be made to watch 100-point losses.
3 of them.
At the start of this year. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege talking about this great football club. So thank you very much for having me.
And thank you so much for bringing wonderful Carlton disciples, Langy, Kate, Sandra. Thank you all for being wonderful.
Oh, wait a minute. Matt sent me something.
Bugs Bell and who else in Carlton was here tonight? Atush, thank you so much for being wonderful Carlton people. Of course, you've come from Pommy, so I expected nothing less. To all my Essendon disciples, Noel, Jeremy. Yes, she absolutely does. Jezzy,
well,
thank you.
The illusion.
Thank you. I know, Jezzy, Pommy, you told me not to ruin the illusion, but I am an authentic, imperfect human, and so I have to go. It's also Jamaica in here. I've got the heater on about 26, because I am in a dress in the middle of, well, it's spring, but I'll say winter because it's only the first of spring. Shally, Dave, thank you so much for your support. Sean, thank you for being here, and Albert. I know you guys are support other clubs, but I appreciate you being here and all the support. Thank you, Richard, for acknowledging the dress. Much appreciated. No, I'm not showing you my PJs. Adam.
No, here we are. Look, this was made by Matt Lang for you.
What the hell is this? Okay, now we've gone too far. We've gone too far. I don't understand this. Can somebody explain?
Great abs. I've got to say, well played.
I mean, it's a bit. What is the triple? Oh, I see. But I mean, I appreciate your creativity, Langy. I do.
Tell you what, the blend is amazing as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is some Photoshop brilliance here. Absolutely Photoshop brilliant.
Oh dear.
The pictorials, I could only dream. I better do chest day at the gym tomorrow. Shoosh.
I tell you what, you didn't skip leg day as well. Look, fucking hell.
True. Yeah. I mean, I've probably spent too many days on the delts, I think. But you know, good on me for putting only some really good dedication gets you looking this good, right? Thank you, Langy.
I tell you what, if you put a red dress on it, you wouldn't know.
Oh yes, true. I mean, Langy, if you feel like it, you just got to put a nice little red dress on this, and bang, it's me. People won't be able to tell the difference.
You see, look, people think this YouTube game's easy, but you know what? When your head is always shown so easy to Photoshop, it's a nightmare.
I mean, the solution's already gonna the solution's already telling me off because his face has been superimposed on a woman wearing a Twix dress, and he's already blaming that on me. Yes, and now I've been superimposed on is this a wrestler? I don't know. It looks like this is this a professional wrestler?
I believe so.
Winning something or. Yeah, that's exactly right. Maybe Rani, maybe it's the protein Barlow next year. I mean, I could never diss my Twixes like that. But
it would be it'd be weird if they did a Twix protein bar, wouldn't it?
Don't tempt me with that. Don't you dare tempt me with that. Don't turn me on with that shit, man. I mean, I'd live off that. I'd live off that. Alrighty. Anyway, taken up enough of your good people's time. Thank you so much for everyone, to you for attending the first TwixLow of Bomber Banter's channel. Maybe it returns next year. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's bigger and better. Who knows?
It does.
Pommy, to you, thank you. Chat, much, much love. And I will see you, no doubt, throughout in the next few weeks with the more and more list decisions that continue to grow. Make sure you check out Pommy and Oz, Pommy's page. He's going to be bringing you so much draft content. You're not going to know yourself. I can't wait. Pommy, you, me, Marnie from Kanga TV, and Chris from Big Footy Tiger Cast. Tell everyone what we're going to be doing Wednesday night, please.
Wednesday night, we're basically the unloved and unkept. A new show starts.
It's the rest. What's it called? What do we call it again? I've already forgot. The best of the rest. Is that what Marnie said?
Secret about me and Fiona is if we are in a group chat, just know I'll read the messages, not fucking take them in, and then Fiona will translate the message 48 hours later when I've interpreted the message completely wrong.
I love this. I love this.
That's how our relationship works. So yeah, it's good. Best of the rest. Us four, we will be doing the preview, and we're also doing a joint watch along. So do that. And Jessie's
first final.
Give Fiona a little bit of a like and a subscribe, because I think we all deserve a round of applause for Fiona, because unlike me, she is obviously putting a lot of effort tonight. Hard being a girl, got to do makeup, you got to do hair, you've got to preen, you've got to make sure you slide into the dress. She's done all that on her own. But not only that, Fiona has been texting me late at night. She has put a lot of effort into tonight. So I can't tell you how hard it is. She's an incredible human being. She is an incredibly hard worker, and she loves her football club. And she loves her football club so much that, you know, I wouldn't piss on it if it was on fire, right? Her infectious nature has made me change my ways about Essendon. And you know what? It's a privilege and a joy to talk about them and share them. And trust me, being in this AFL game for a long, long time, there's a lot of people out there who are as fake as they come. It is an honour and a breath of fresh air to have someone like Fiona come out here, be herself, be dedicated, be raw and honest, and the world needs more of it. So I'm incredibly thankful we have Fiona as part of this community. It's a joy to have.
Oh, thank you, Pom. Have I not shed enough tears this week on you? Thank you, Pom. I mean, you know, I put it in a video. I teared up on the internet, and you know, I think the world of you, and I think the world of you. Oh, look, it's Webby. That's okay. You just missed it. No problem. We love you, Webby. You can catch the replay. Hope London town is doing well. Thank you so much.
Lincoln City, Lincoln, up the imps.
I don't know what that means, but
that's their nickname.
Oh, right. Okay, great.
Come on, Fiona, you're better than this.
Oh, look, you did promise me I'm going to get on board the soccer in this off season, maybe, if I can be bothered, if I have enough bandwidth left in my brain for something else, because this, as Pommy has alluded, took a lot of time and effort, but I did love every minute because I love the club. I love all of you. Thank you, Bomber Boy, Dave, Shano, Bugs Bell, your support and validation and support. I mean, I said support, but I meant your kind words really does mean a lot to me. They're not just words. They actually sink into my heart and soul. So thank you so much for being here and for everything you do. He is very good with the English language. He really
You're
is.
Fucking up, sir.
Oh my God, yes. Pommy he has done a lot for me, but he has not yet feated this mountain.
Shaky snake. Evidently, it's all up and it's all hidden, and you know she's just holding out on us. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all there. Like he's literally all she has to do is press a goddamn fucking button, and she won't do it.
Yeah. Alrighty, everybody. The biggest freaking love. Enjoy the rest of the week. Hopefully, this started it on a high for you. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we will see you very, very soon. I promise you. Good night.
Night.